I'm Christine Lisi. The Celtics on the brink of elimination when they take on the Heat in Game 4 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals tonight, 8 Eastern ESPN Radio. Boston coming off a humiliating loss in Miami in Game 3, one in which Jason Tatum scored just 14 points on 6 of 18 shooting. None of that matters, though, at this point, says Tatum.
I just got to do whatever it takes for us to win. And, whether I've been playing great or not, we're down 0-3, so it hasn't been good enough. So I got to do more. We all got to do more to do what we want to do.
Celtics forward Jason Tatum is told to the NBA on ESPN Radio, in all of pro sports, only 5 teams have come back from a 3-0 deficit to win a playoff series, 1 in baseball, 4 in hockey, none from the NBA. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers strained his calf in conditioning drills today. He downplayed the injury, said he doesn't think it's too serious. NFL voters voted to tweak the fair catch kickoff rule. This season, a fair catch on a kickoff will be placed at the 25-yard line, regardless of where it's fielded. Concussion rates on kickoffs have surged over the past 2 seasons.
It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles, made for your next adventure. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Locked, loaded, a ton to do. Saints OTAs today. Paul Mainieri here in hour number 3. Looking forward to that, but let's get it started right now.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, let's head over to Hoover, Alabama. SEC tournament is underway, and the first game of the day obviously was of great consequence to LSU. South Carolina, Georgia. Loser goes home. Winner moves on to play LSU on Wednesday morning. And the South Carolina Gamecocks did the deed, 9-0. They shut out the Georgia Bulldogs. We talked about yesterday, if you're LSU, who you would have preferred to play. And I told you Georgia because Will Sanders from South Carolina likely would have been the guy to start against LSU in Game 2. And Georgia doesn't really have an ace. Well, you can kind of scratch that because Mark Kingston, Will Sanders not pitched the last 2 weeks, and Mark Kingston said Will Sanders likely will not pitch this week in the SEC tournament either. So what South Carolina does tomorrow against LSU is going to be a bit up in the air as Carolina tries to battle their way through, obviously, to lock up a regional host site. They are 16-13 in the conference. Conventional wisdom would suggest they will likely earn a regional host site, despite the fact that they have skidded of late. The RPI is top 10, and they have 16 conference wins, and that puts them very much in the mix in that conversation. But a couple of wins in Hoover could do a little more damage. But no Will Sanders for South Carolina, so we'll see what the pitching matchup will be for LSU and South Carolina. I can't imagine either coach is going to tip their hand until they absolutely have to. Jay Johnson has already said he's not going to make that announcement until Wednesday morning when he has to make that announcement. By the way, Texas A&M and Tennessee are in a rain delay there in Hoover. So, Muse, drink away.
Man, they were going strong, too, all day. Rain in both games, Scone, but never hard enough to stop. That game's got to be in the ninth inning, too, which really
It's
stinks.
top of the ninth.
Yeah.
Rain delay in the top of the ninth.
That's brutal.
A&M leading Tennessee 3-0. And this would be huge because Tennessee is one of those teams that I don't think anybody wants to see right now. They've kind of figured out their pitching, but the single elimination portion really sucks because nobody's going to throw any of their good arms. You're kind of treated like a midweek, and you just want to get through it, right? And get into the double elimination portion. So Georgia's done, and Tennessee's on the brink of being done here. Rain delay. It's just hilarious because Muse tells me yesterday, man, see the forecast for Hoover? Immaculate all week.
It was.
I pulled up the forecast. I was like, Muse, there's rain in the forecast literally every damn day.
It changed. I mean, it's Hoover. It happens.
It changed. The forecast changed. So anyway, but again, the benefit of playing the 9:30 a.m. game is you don't have to put up with this. I get it. It's not ideal to play the first game of the day, but as Muse said, both games now have had rain, and this one is delayed now in the 9th. So if you're the third game of the day or subsequently the 4th, you're getting pushed back further and further. So, yeah, it benefits you to play earlier. By the way, Mark Kingston, after the game today, can you play number 4? He did talk about moving on from this game to play LSU.
It's a one game at a time mentality at this point, right? I mean, these guys are going to go back to the hotel. They're probably going to ask what time curfew is. They're going to spend some time in the mall. They're going to decide where they should go to have a little fun. And then we're going to come out tomorrow ready to play one game and see if we can win just like we did today.
So that's Mark Kingston, and they beat Georgia. They move on to play LSU. We remember what happened with LSU in South Carolina a couple of months ago when LSU played up in Columbia. Game 1 was the one that was paused after 3 innings by rain. It was Skeens against Sanders. Both pitchers were pulled after the 3rd inning delay, and ultimately that'd be the only game of the year that Paul Skeens lost. Tigers came back. LSU lost that one 13-5. It got away late. LSU came back. They won Game 2 8-7. Dramatic comeback. Really great performance by Gavin Guidry to slam the door, and LSU wins Game 2. And then Game 3 didn't happen. So now Game 3 gets to happen in Hoover, Muse? Huh? Game 3 gets to happen in Hoover.
Not really, but sure.
Yeah!
Nah.
It's the 3rd game between the 2 teams,
Nah,
Muse.
it just doesn't matter.
It's the 3rd game between the 2 teams.
The SEC race is over.
It's the 3rd game between
They're
the
in
2 teams.
postseason baseball.
But it's the 3rd game between...
It's not the series, though.
No, it's not. So, Jay Johnson met with the media on Monday when LSU practiced out at UAB yesterday. I think it was at UAB yesterday. Or was that today? Well, they were at UAB one of the days. They were at a high school field. No, it doesn't matter. They're finding places around Birmingham to practice. And he was asked the question, is there anything you do pitching-wise this week that impacts next week? And this is the answer. This is the mindset that you have to understand for Jay Johnson going into this tournament.
It's probably the other way around, if that makes sense. Next week, the thoughts into next week, play a part in how we go about doing what we're going to do here. Because, I would love to win this tournament. I think it's, again, one of the best events in amateur baseball, but we need to position ourselves well for next weekend.
That's what matters. You're not going to compromise anyone or anything next week to win this tournament. So you're not going to throw Paul Skeens tomorrow. Jay was on this show 3-4 weeks ago, and I asked him about load management for Skeens, and he directly mentioned the SEC tournament, getting there and being in a situation where maybe they could pull back the reins. So maybe it's a scenario that whenever you play Thursday, you do give Paul Skeens the ball, but maybe it's an abbreviated outing for Paul Skeens. Maybe he gives you 50 pitches. Maybe it's something like that. You'd love to win this tournament, but you're not all in to win this tournament. So what might LSU do tomorrow? You got a lot of options. I think you're looking at some of the usual suspects that have started midweek games for you. Thatcher Hurd started 9 times this year. He could be a candidate to start tomorrow. Of course, he extended in Game 2 against Georgia. And Game 1 when you won in extra innings on Thursday of last week. So he hadn't pitched since Thursday. So he had off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 5 days rest. In theory, you could bring Thatcher Hurd back and let him start tomorrow. Javen Coleman is not going to be ready to throw, obviously, after having pitched Saturday. I cannot see you bringing him back on that shorter rest. I cannot imagine them giving the ball to Christian Little, considering how much he has struggled. But Riley Cooper and Blake Money are both candidates. I mean, those are guys that have started midweek games for you. Cooper started in the weekend to begin the season. He started twice. Blake Money has started 2 midweek games for you. And I could really see a scenario where you say, Blake, here's the ball. Go get us off to a good start. And then Thursday, maybe you get Paul Skeens on the bump. So we'll wait and see, like everybody else, what Jay Johnson elects to do. It's just hard to imagine using anybody that could be a significant contributor in that game tomorrow. You're going to have to go try to slug your way past South Carolina, which LSU is most certainly capable of doing. But treat Wednesday like a midweek game. If you win it, either way, you're playing Thursday. Then you could treat it like you're moving into a weekend where you could go Skeens, Floyd, and then figure it out beyond there. All right, it's After Further Review. Of course, show open every day brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy, Louisiana. Always great events going on, courtesy of our friends at Mockler Beverage. Told you this past Sunday I was over at Smoke 'em If You Got 'em, a great charitable event from our guy Clay Young, benefiting the Special Forces Charitable Fund for families of members of Special Forces, which is just a great organization. And our friends at Mockler Beverage were there front and center as the sponsor of the event. Ice cold Bud Light was flowing, and we were glad to be there. So if you're watching baseball this weekend or whatever you may be doing, grab yourself an ice cold Bud Light and drink easy, Louisiana. Okay, it's After Further Review. Saints were on the practice field today for OTAs. There was a notable absence and a notable presence. Someone in attendance. Let's put it to you that way. We'll get to that next. Let's hear from Dennis Allen and Derek Carr from Saints OTAs when we come back here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Tell you every day, buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery. Whenever it rains, or just this time of year because we live in Louisiana, and mosquitoes are everywhere. And you could pay a mosquito abatement company a lot of money to come to your house and spray, or you could just spend $25 at Clegg's and be done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. It's the mosquito barrier. Same product I've talked about for years, 90 days at a time. New name is called Aeon, A-I-O-N. It's the little canister. It's a tube the size of a track baton. You take the top off. It's got granules in it. You fill it with water to the fill line. Shake it up, hang it on your property line, and boom, 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 you are done with mosquitoes 90 days at a time. We have a pool. We have water behind our house as well, and we don't have an issue with mosquitoes, and I have never sprayed at my house. We literally just use this product from Clegg. So get by any of the locations. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off, plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks, and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs, even in the case of an after-hours emergency. The light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, Saints, we're back on the practice field Tuesday for the start of OTAs. For those that aren't familiar, OTAs, organized team activities, they're voluntary, so you don't have to be out there. What's interesting, Dennis Allen, when he met with reporters after Tuesday's OTA, said, yeah, the majority of their team was out there, actually.
I think I've had communication with everybody that's not here. And look, we've got, I think today there's 80 of 89 out here, so roughly 90% of our roster is out here. These guys are working extremely hard to both in the weight room and now out here practicing football. So we're excited about the guys that are here. You know, we're hopeful that we're going to still continue to get some more guys here, but we're going to focus on the guys that are here and get those guys better. And when the other guys show up, we're going to coach the hell out of them too.
90% participation is really good for OTAs. You obviously have some guys. I'll point out, you're always going to have guys that Isaiah Foskey, for example, the rookie out of Notre Dame, was at rookie minicamp, does not have his contract signed yet. But you're always looking at guys that are going to no-show. There's always words and verbiage in contracts where guys don't necessarily have to show up, or they have to show up to get a bonus, whatever the case may be. So just something kind of worth keeping an eye on as we move through. One guy who was there, most notably, that we were all looking for, which is just the best news ever, is Foster Moreau.
You know, we just had a brief exposure today. I know he's been in here for about the last 10 days. He's working hard, looks good physically, and I think he's going to be a good addition for us.
How incredible is it, man? You know, when you just think back, it's been 2 months, man. 2 months since Foster was diagnosed, and wondered what the future would hold. Would he even be able to play football this coming season? To how rapidly this has accelerated. The great news, the treatments that are working and taking that haven't taken the toll on his body they thought. The Saints were able to sign him, and now first day OTA is voluntary. Again, I want to underscore that. Today is voluntary. Nobody would have faulted Foster Moreau at all if he had said, you know what? I'm going to chill for a minute. I'm looking forward to being out there, y'all, but I'm going to chill for a sec, and I'll be out there when I am. And everybody would have been cool with that. But there he is, first day of OTAs, out there with his teammates. And look, Derek Carr also met with reporters on Tuesday. And when you hear Derek Carr talk about being teammates with Foster Moreau again, you understand even more. We already knew it, but you understand the character of the guy and why this makes so much sense.
It was amazing. There was no learning curve on how to throw him a football. I know how he gets out of breaks and things like that. But I think I don't want to undersell what that man just walked through. That's pretty scary news and a pretty scary thing to go through. And for him to be out there already, I'm not getting to his business, but it's pretty miraculous. I know he's thankful. We were praying for him. He called us, pretty early when he found out, and he's asked my wife and I to pray for him, and obviously we do because we're family. And I'm just happy that he's out there and doing something that he loves to do. And the fact that we get to play together is pretty cool too.
That's awesome. Position of need. We've been through it all a bunch of times, but the big news: Foster Moreau was at OTAs. One guy who was not is rookie offensive lineman Nick Saldiveri. So Nick Saldiveri was at rookie minicamp. So this isn't a holdout situation. Dennis Allen said that Saldiveri is dealing with a strained calf. So something that you would assume happened at rookie minicamp after the draft. I mean, he was at He went through all the pre-draft stuff, was at the Senior Bowl, was at rookie minicamp. So he's been out there. This isn't any situation like that. It's just hey, man, you strain your calf. There's no reason to be out there right now. Just take it easy. Kendre Miller also not participating as he's coming back off the knee injury. Michael Thomas, expected, was not there as well as he's continuing to rehab to get healthy, to be ready to go for hopefully the start of training camp, if not the start of preseason and the start of the season. So just some of these sort of attendance that we're taking note of. Also of note, some things that you may find interesting, different jersey numbers. Ugo Amadi is going to wear number 0. The NFL is allowing number 0. So the first ever 0 in Saints history is safety Ugo Amadi. Alontae Taylor has changed his jersey number to 1. Derek Carr is in 4, so Blake Gillikin moves from 4 to 5. So you'll see Blake Gillikin wearing jersey number 5. There were a couple of other ones I wrote down. One interesting one is not necessarily the jersey number, but it's Eno Benjamin. Remember, the Saints added Eno Benjamin late in the season last year when they desperately needed running back help. Well, now you've brought in Jamal Williams. You drafted Kendre Miller. I don't know what Eno Benjamin's role is on this team, if at all. But until you get Kendre Miller healthy and back out there, it does make sense that you would have Eno Benjamin there. So he'll hang around for a little bit. The other really good news, by the way, Smoke Monday. Remember, Smoke Monday was an undrafted free agent a year ago out of Auburn. Everyone was very excited about him from the safety spot. Tore his ACL, missed the entire 2022 season, so the Saints were able to stash him. But he was back out there today. So Smoke Monday is a guy who you're really going to look at on the Saints team to say, is that a guy that can win a job and provide some safety depth? You know, like JT Gray is a guy who's a defensive back who is who's a safety, who's a special teams ace or special teams captain. So that's a guy you're assuming his roster spot is obviously secure. But after Tyrann Mathieu and Marcus May, what do you look like at safety? And Smoke Monday could be one of those guys that's out there vying for a job if he can prove that he's healthy and he's ready to roll. The aforementioned Ugo Amadi is listed as a safety as well. So that should be a pretty competitive battle. Jonathan Abram was with the Raiders with Derek Carr and the Raiders, one of his former teammates who's here now as well. So one of the interesting battles as we move toward training camp that's going to be fun to watch is depth at the safety position, and Smoke Monday is going to be in the mix there as well. All right, it's after further review. I want to come back in just a second. I mean, give me 60 seconds, and I want to talk about Derek Carr a little more because Derek Carr talked about today about sort of being rejuvenated with the Saints. And I got a point I want to make. We'll get to that in a second. Let me remind you about South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. Actually was over there earlier today. Told y'all that I got my brand new Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. Well, the license plate and the registration came in, so no more paper tags for your boy. Went by today. It's always great to walk through there, man. You know, to see Brad, see Mr. Bill, to see Chris, all my great friends over at South Point Volkswagen. You know, good people that I've gotten to know so well over the years. We've gone through the car buying or leasing process, between me and Erica now, at least a half dozen times. So I'm a proud Volkswagen driver. South Point has been great to us over the years. They will be for you as well. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. I should mention Carrie Manuel as well. I saw Carrie today. Carrie is the certified pre-owned manager. And so if you ever, are looking for a certified pre-owned vehicle, they got all different makes and models, not just Volkswagen. As a matter of fact, I was on the lot today. They had a Lexus sedan out there. If you want to shop it, you can go do it at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? So Saints were on the practice field for OTAs on Tuesday, and afterwards Derek Carr met with reporters. And we already saw rookie minicamp, but this is the first time we got to see Carr out there running around in a Saints uniform with his teammates playing. And after practice, Derek Carr met with the media and talked about this sort of next phase of his career and what it's meant for him.
The foundation and the culture is already laid. I just got to come in and be me, and I've just been a fly on the wall, being encouraging and being a leader and doing those things when I need to be and saying something when I need to say something. But I've honestly just enjoyed my time just getting to be me again. And, I think being in this building has been it's rejuvenated me. It's been a breath of fresh air for me. I never wanted to leave, Las Vegas, never wanted to. But life had different circumstances. But when I walked in this building after the last couple of months, I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm here. I miss my friends, obviously miss my teammates, but I just got to get used to these new colors. I'm not going to lie, walking out to practice was a little different, but I'll get used to it real soon.
Did you hear what he said? It's rejuvenated me. Yeah, weird, different colors, different practice field, new teammates, terminology, all that stuff. But he said, it's rejuvenated me. Think about any time in your life when, if you have any, whatever it is that you're competitive in doing, when a new challenge presents, it should get you pretty jazzed up. Like whatever it is you do professionally or personally. I mean, you're a rec league softball player. And your teammates are like, yeah, man, hey, look, we don't have a spot for you. So you go catch on with a new team. You ain't going to be super jazzed about getting out there against your former squad. Like, there's something to it if you have those competitive juices. Like, any challenge that presents. I mean, I'll tell you personally, like, just recently, obviously, a lot of you know that I took on the PD role at 104.5 ESPN. I am so fired up every day to wake up and tackle the challenge of how are we going to take this station we've grown for 13 years and pour gasoline on that fire for the next decade. Like I love, like that fires me up every day. So, I mean, that's just part of it if you're Derek Carr. The real question, though, is like, you can be fired up, but are you good enough? Here's another one from Derek Carr. So it's sort of speaking to that same emotion going on right now.
Today felt like day one. Had a young center hit my pinky, all those kind of things. All those things that you need to wake you up that it's football time. But yeah, today felt like day one. It's very smooth, very simple. But I thought we executed. I think it was a good start. But as soon as you have a good start, it's all about going up now. Wherever you set that bar now, you never want to go backwards. And so hopefully we can keep pushing. There's going to be things we're going to grow from and things we're going to learn from and mistakes made and all that. But hopefully we just learn at a faster rate and just keep climbing.
You know what? When I heard Derek Carr speak today, I started thinking of other examples in the NFL of guys that have done what Derek Carr is trying to do. Like the most obvious example, and we've talked about it a ton because it's recent, but it's what Matthew Stafford did, right? Stafford was drafted in the first round, first overall, by the Lions. He spent a decade in Detroit. They ultimately decided to move on. They trade him to the Rams, and year one he wins a Super Bowl. And not only did he win the Super Bowl, but he just had a resurgence of sorts. He threw for 4,800 yards. He had 41 touchdowns. Think about his last year in Detroit, 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. He threw for 800 more yards and 15 more touchdowns. The juices got him going again. Now, look, he was throwing to Cooper Kupp and Odell and Van Jefferson, better players, but you understand the point. Like, it clearly motivated him. And so I was thinking of, like, other examples similarly. And the one that kept coming to my mind was Kurt Warner. Warner's a little bit of a different path. And I think, Muse, we were talking off air. Like, you had mentioned, like, Jameis. Who were some of the other ones you mentioned?
I mentioned the possibility that Jameis had to do it.
Oh, you threw out Breeze.
Breeze, yeah.
But and the point that I made was, I'm not so much talking about a guy in his mid-20s who's moving on, like, from his rookie contract to his next stop. I'm more talking about, like, a dude that's an established vet that's been around for a decade and made it in the next stop. Like, isn't Andy Dalton sort of the antithesis of this, right?
That's
like,
fair for sure, yeah.
You think of Andy Dalton and Matthew Stafford, right? Both spent a decade with the team that drafted him. Dalton was beginning of round 2, but Stafford was the first overall pick. But still, a decade in their place. They made the playoffs, didn't have a lot of success, and then Stafford goes to the Rams, wins the Super Bowl. Dalton's done. Went to Chicago, went to Dallas, went to New Orleans, now Carolina. 4 teams, 4 years. Like, he's done. He's just done being any type of elite player. Stafford still had it in him in L.A. I mentioned Kurt Warner. Warner won an MVP, won a Super Bowl, went to a couple of Super Bowls, greatest show on turf, all that stuff. The Rams let him go. Well, his next stop wasn't Arizona. His next stop was the Giants. And it didn't work out in New York. He was there for 1 year, was a backup, and then was gone to Arizona. And then he found that in Arizona, got Arizona to a Super Bowl. And that's one that I would say, and that was his second to last year in the league. Threw for 4,500 yards. I mean, here's what he did in Arizona. 2,700 yards, 1,300 yards, 3,400 yards, 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns. It was the second to last year. And then 3,700 yards and 26 touchdowns, and he was done. But the point is, like, he found it again in Arizona. We talked about Brett Favre.
Yeah.
You know, the Packers, look, we all know Brett's history in Green Bay. Then he ultimately went to the Jets. They went to the postseason, but then he went to Minnesota for 2 years, and he was a game away from the Super Bowl, as we all know. And then this final season, it collapsed, and they were 4-13. Or not 4-13. They were 5-8, excuse me. Peyton Manning had the injury. They draft Andrew Luck. 2011, they move on, goes to Denver. I mean, Peyton had 4 seasons in Denver. 3 of the 4 were incredible. He won the Super Bowl in the 4th season, but he went to 2 Super Bowls. He won 2 MVPs during his time in Denver. He found it again. But are we looking at Brett Favre and Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner? We're looking at Hall of Famers. Like, I don't think anybody's going to argue Derek Carr's a Hall of Famer. Right?
Right. I mean, I think the Matthew Stafford comp is the closest. I mean, is anybody? I mean, you might have some that would argue Matthew Stafford's a Hall of Famer, but I'm going to, before the Super Bowl, wouldn't Matthew Stafford
that's the question.
And Derek Carr really have been on the same plane?
And as I've said so many times here, Derek Carr and Andy Dalton are on the same plane. Like, go look at them statistically. They are the same guy. Their careers are the same.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, it didn't work after he was done. So the question is, for Derek Carr, is this rejuvenation going to lead the way that it did for Matthew Stafford, or is it going to go the way that it did for Andy Dalton? Or somewhere in between? I don't know. But that's going to be the fascinating part to watch with Derek Carr. Can, at 31 years old, he find that gear again to make him an elite player in a new place? Or were the Raiders right in saying, we think you're done? The Bengals were right. Andy Dalton is done. He is done being an elite player. They were right. They moved on, and look, it worked. They got Joe Burrow. It's worked just fine for Cincinnati. Detroit, with Stafford, look, they're trending in the right direction. And the Rams got themselves a Super Bowl. Where do the Saints fall on that spectrum is the fascinating thing. But you hear Derek Carr say it. I feel rejuvenated. It feels like day one again. That's all great. Like, you want that from a competitor. But can he physically still do it? And that's the story that's going to unfold as the season moves along. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll go around the SEC when we come back next. Stick around.
AFR.
Buying or selling commercial or residential. Need a realtor? You need Darren James. Don't just call any realtor. Call the realtor that literally sells more homes than anyone. Do you realize there are millions of realtors in America? Like, literally. Millions of realtors in America. And every year, the Wall Street Journal has this Real Trends list, and they compile the top realtors in the country based on their production. And Darren James, every year, is among the top one. He's on that list every year. Top 1% of realtors in America. There's a reason. He's got the systems, the people, the processes all in place to get your home sold faster for more money. 335-7666. 335-7666. Y'all, that's Darren James's cell. Call him. Text him right now. 335-7666 or agent225.com. If you need to sell your home, you need the best. You need Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate. Think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Are we going to go around the SEC here in just a quick second? They're still on a rain delay in Hoover. In the ninth inning, Tennessee trailing Texas A&M 3-0. That's game 2 earlier today. If you missed it, South Carolina, they blanked Georgia 9-0. Georgia's done. So LSU, South Carolina, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Is the scheduled first pitch. Again, weather in Hoover can be a little wackadoo. All right, we are going to go around the SEC in just a quick second. The Lakers got bounced last night. They got swept. We're not really a Laker show, a national show here, so I don't talk a ton about this. But I did find it interesting, and I was watching this live last night after the game when LeBron said this about his future.
I like to say it's a successful year because I don't play for anything besides winning championships at this point in my career, and I don't get a kick out of making a conference appearance. I've done it a lot, and it's not fun to me to not be able to be a part of getting to the finals. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But I don't know. I got a lot to think about, to be honest, and just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, got a lot to think about.
So LeBron was non-committal. I believe. So this is weird. I told you I was watching the post game. And so LeBron's leaving the postgame, and he's walking through the tunnel, and it looked like Dave McMenamin of ESPN who was talking to him. There was a reporter talking to him as he's walking through the bowels of Crypto.com Arena, and this quote came out later. It said, when you say you got stuff to think about, what thread should we be pulling on that? LeBron says, quote, if I want to continue to play, end quote. As in next year, yeah, you would walk away. I got to think about it. So that's... Listen, I fully expect LeBron's going to be back, but when someone starts to tell you I got to think about it, LeBron's telling you he's only in it to win championships, and they're not close to winning championships. So everyone said that he wants to play with Bronny, his son, and I get that, but there's two really presumptive things. Number one, is Bronny good enough to be a one and done? Like, he's going to USC next year. You have to assume that Bronny is going to play 1 year at SC and then get into the NBA. There's no guarantee. And then also, if he does get into the NBA, there's no guarantee he and LeBron play on the same team. So while I get that that's a really cool goal to have, there's a lot of things out of your control to make that happen. So just something worth watching as we move here into this offseason. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, shawbillstire.com. The scones, the family scone, are heading to the beach on Friday. Before you go, whatever your family vacation may be, make sure you bring your vehicle into Shawbills. You need the oil change, tires rotated, you need that thing tuned up a little bit, or if you need new tires, of course, no better place to go than Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations across South Louisiana. The newest location in LaPlace. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. No one will sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices like Shawbills. It's ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, let's do it. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama center Charles Bediako says he will stay in the NBA draft. He's foregoing his remaining college eligibility. The third Crimson Tide starter to leave for the draft. Bediako started all 37 games this past year, averaged 6 and 6. Bama's got a major turnover. They're already welcoming in 6 new players, and Nate Oates has lost all 3 of his assistant coaches to head coaching jobs.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Speaking of transfers, commitment Tremont Mack became the first to announce he would withdraw from the draft and will spend next season in Fayetteville. One of the dominoes to fall. They're waiting on 3 other players, including Louisville transfer El Ellis, to determine if they will actually play for the Hogs next season or stay in the draft. As for Mark, he's the 22nd best player in the transfer portal rankings coming out of Houston. He's a 6'6", 195-pound two-way guard.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia landed another commit, this time from Marcus Harrison, big-time offensive lineman out of New York State, 6'7", 325. He's the 15th commit for Georgia in this class. He's a 3-star prospect. Had been thought to be a Wisconsin lean, but now has pledged to the Georgia Bulldogs, the 48th best offensive tackle, number 606 overall in the country for 2024. And just taking a peek ahead at the rest of the baseball games for today. Of course, South Carolina blanked Georgia 9-0. Tennessee and Texas A&M currently in a weather delay in the 9th. Later on today, it's Kentucky and Alabama in the 8-9 game. And then the final game tonight is 5th-seeded Auburn against 12th-seeded Missouri. And we know LSU and South Carolina will play tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them, GCOPnet.com, GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's what you get every day at Gulf Coast Office Products. A proud national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all makes and models at Gulf Coast Office Products. Check them out online, GCOPnet.com, the official office equipment provider of the LSU Tigers, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Ragin' Cajuns. Okay, y'all, it is after further review. We're going to knock out a quick break in less than 20 minutes from right now. We're going to head up to Columbia, South Carolina. Our buddy Jay Phillips is going to join us. We'll get kind of a thumbnail on this Gamecock baseball team, where they sit today after beating Georgia and heading into the game tomorrow morning against LSU. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Boy, they've been great partners of ours here. It's been great to get to know Gordon and to allow a lot of you to get to know Gordon as well. Of course, you see the man on the billboards and the TV ads. You hear the man on the radio ads, and you hear the jingle. But what you've gotten to see is the humanitarian side of Gordon as well. The Gordon Gives charitable arm of the firm there, and how they give so much. One of the things that I'm obviously very passionate about that we've been able to tell you, parts of the G team, the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys G team, their NIL deals, went out to Miracle League earlier this year. Trey Morgan, Gavin Guidry, Gavin Dugas, Shelton Sampson went out to Miracle League and befriended young kiddos with special needs who were able to go play baseball a couple days a week out at the Miracle League out of Traction. And Gordon was so integral in that as well, sponsoring that league and making sure members of the G team were out there as well. Of course, you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Following deaths of multiple people by suspects who were supposed to be monitored by ankle monitors, state lawmakers are taking action and proposing changes to put more teeth into that monitoring. There's now a push to monitor the monitoring companies in an effort to hold them accountable if people aren't where they are supposed to be. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Well, this is always one of the most fun 10 minutes that I get to do every year. Get to welcome my friend Karen McCord into studio. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic. I think everybody, of course, should know by now, but Karen, of course, is Carley's mom. And we always get to talk and
we do.
Obviously remember our friend, but also get to promote a great event that Carley's sister Kaylee puts on as a fundraiser every year. First, let me ask, fill people in. How they haven't heard from you in a year, so what's going on? How are you?
Well, we are doing well, and we're writing a book. The family is writing a book.
You're writing a book of Carley's story.
Of Carley's story, and what we're going to do is we're going to write the book, and then hopefully ESPN has contacted us. That doesn't mean that they're going to pick it up or whatever, but they're actually looking for a documentary for 30 for 30. So I think it's going to be fun, and I do want to say, anybody out there in the audience who can think of a good title, let me know.
Okay.
Because
you're soliciting title help. I love it.
You know, that's the hardest part of writing a book is the title.
So, by the way, you are a published author already.
Mm-hmm.
You've written a book. How did you come up with the title for your first book?
I didn't. My editor did.
Oh, really?
And you know, I don't like it. I still don't like it. I don't know why I agreed to it. I just didn't like it. I mean, it's called The Lessons of the Lilies, and I can't say that, all the L's, and I go, la, 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 la.
The Lessons for the Lilies. There's a lot of alliteration.
There are, and it's just too much for my little brain, you know. So,
well, I'm sure whatever the title will be, the content is what people will come for.
Right.
And it'll be awesome. What is the process of starting to write a book about Carley been like?
It has been fascinating. And I'll tell you why, Matt. As a mom, Carley was my daughter. You know, Carley was Carley, and, you know, we didn't realize what she was into. I didn't realize, okay, and pardon me for saying this because I sound like a terrible mom, but actually I thought I was pretty good. but
You're a great mom.
She knew gobs and gobs and gobs of people. And I'm not talking about just, I'm talking about people on the street, people in the fans, people in the stands, and people on the sidelines, coaches. She worked in the NFL, and she was actually an undercover scout. I had no idea. I thought she was a sideline reporter. That was fake, so that she could analyze the players. Her cover was to be a sideline reporter, and she actually fell in love with it.
She did that with Cleveland when she was when she worked for the Browns organization, Michael Lombardi. Yeah.
And she was such an integral part of the NFL that Michael Lombardi actually said, that Bill Belichick would ask around and ask for her opinion, and all sorts of people in the NFL would ask for her opinion about the character of the players. And so she did, that was totally undercover. And, Carley actually was a criminal justice major.
I knew that.
So she actually was an undercover scout. Well, that was interesting. Of course, she wound up going into the sideline business, and she worked for the Pels, she worked for the Saints. And I can remember one time, I looked at this picture I had forgotten, and when I was writing the book, I came across this picture, and she wrote me, and she said, "Mom, this guy is stalking me." And I said, "Okay, we'll call security." She goes, "Mom, you don't call security on Mark Cuban."
Wait, why was Mark Cuban stalking her?
Well, because she was with the Pelicans and he was with the, Mavericks?
Yeah, he owns the Mavericks.
He owns the Mavericks. And so I'm like, well, call police. This guy's a creeper. And he goes, no, he is, Mark Cuban, and he's safe. And so I said, "Oh, okay, who's Mark Cuban again?" And she goes, I said, "Isn't he related to a shark? Call the police."
He is, Mark Cuban, Shark Tank, of course.
Yes. So,
So do you have a target idea for when the book may publish? Like, what's the process like?
Well, the process is this. We've written the outline. We've actually interviewed about 80 people, including Taysom Hill. Who's the shoulda, coulda, woulda guy? Jim Mora. Yeah. Oh, he was funny. Oh Lord, we could get started on Jim Mora. I absolutely loved him, and of course Taysom Hill, and we've gotten a lot of things. We've got Laura Rutledge lined up to talk to us. I'm hoping for Shaquille O'Neal. Of course, you're part of it, and Fletcher Mackel and Mike Detillier, and for the audience, if you don't know, Mike and Matt actually read for Carley and Steven's wedding, and they also, unfortunately, read for the funeral as well. But she wanted to ask Mike and Matt to be bridesmaids, but they didn't look good. They really didn't look good in the dresses, and so they read.
That is absolutely on brand. She totally would have had us do that.
Yes, but that's true. You know that.
I actually didn't know that she wanted us to be bridesmaids. I don't know how I would have felt about that. Reading was a perfectly acceptable honor, though. But what's interesting is, so Mike and I did read for Carley and Steven's wedding, and then it was Kaylee who called me the day after the accident.
Correct.
And asked me to read at the funeral. And it was then that she told me that she wanted to do a fundraiser. Right. And she said she wanted to do a fundraiser for Drew. For those that don't know, that's our son. And what happened is the Little Rainbows collection, and that has become an annual fundraiser now. Kaylee, Carley's sister Kaylee, has a children's clothing line, and the Little Rainbows collection is a fundraiser which has been used to donate money every year to families with special needs children.
Right.
And this year, you all have made the decision that that the proceeds are going to go to St. Lillian Academy. So not just one family, but to the school as a whole.
Correct. And the reason why we chose St. Lillian's Academy, of course, was for he goes to every so often.
Right.
And so that's the reason why we chose St. Lillian's to help with the fundraiser.
Well, if you're watching here on YouTube, there's the website for Little Luann. And if you go to, it's littleluann.com.
Yep.
Little Luann, L-O-U-A-N-N-E, littleluann.com. If you click on the rainbows, you'll see the rainbows tab. You'll see all of the items there, of course. And everything, the proceeds for all of the sales are going to go to St. Lillian Academy. And it's an amazing way to help carry on Carley's legacy and also to do great things for
Yep. And if you look at that book sack, fabulous. If you look at the lunch pails, fabulous. And I'm going to tell you the book sack is big enough to start next year's school. So why not buy it now and so that you won't have to buy it in August.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
AFR.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. The cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring. Wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. For the second time in as many nights, an NBA Conference Finals series could end in a sweep. Last night, Nuggets swept out the Lakers in the West. Tonight, the Heat's got a chance to do that in Game 4 of the East Finals versus the Celtics. No secret who's been the main catalyst for Miami's incredible postseason run, notes ESPN basketball analyst Monica McNutt.
It starts with the mindset and the confidence that Jimmy Butler has instilled into this team, but then the rest of these guys are really stars in their roles. And I'll continue to say that since about Game 5 of that Knicks series, Bam Adebayo has been on a tear, and it's been sort of quiet because you come to expect sort of double-doubles from him, but he has been terrific defensively. He's made great decisions offensively.
Game 4, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio, NFL. Quarterback Aaron Rodgers, first Jets practice in front of the media today, strained a calf while taking part in conditioning drills. He downplayed the injury, told reporters he does not think it's too serious. The NFL tweaked the fair catch kickoff rule. This season, a fair catch on a kickoff will be placed at the 25-yard line regardless of where it's fielded. Concussion rates on kickoffs have surged over the past 2 seasons.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sue. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A Paul Mainieri 1 hour from right now. Looking forward to having Coach on the show. It's been a minute. We're glad to have him back. That's coming up here 1 hour from right now. 1 day from now, we know LSU will play South Carolina at the SEC tournament there in Hoover. Carolina beat Georgia to open up the action earlier today. So let's go up to Columbia, visit with our buddy Jay Phillips from 107.5 The Game, talk a little bit about the Gamecocks, as it'll be Tigers and Gamecocks for the third time this year tomorrow in Hoover. Jay, we appreciate you, man. How are you?
I'm well, sir, and I got to tell you, when I hear the name Paul O'Neill, all I can think about is that Seinfeld episode of "I'm not even a home run hitter." Where'd you get two from?
Hey, man, whatever Paul O'Neill references we can get here, especially in reference to the Yankee great Paul O'Neill, I'm down with it. Although I love our guy Paul O'Neill here too as well.
It's that's good stuff.
Spelled the same way.
Yeah. Carolina fans excited today. Do you realize this is the first time the Gamecocks have won a ball game in this event, the SEC tournament, since 2018?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, they for a team and program that is as solid as South Carolina's is. I was joking with Aaron Fitt. You guys know Aaron from D1
Sure.
Baseball. We were talking this weekend. South Carolina is allergic to this tournament. My buddy David Cloninger did the math, Matt. Since South Carolina won this event for the only time in its history, 2004, they are 12-30 at the SEC tournament. It's just remarkable they've won two national titles since then and played for a third, and yet this tournament is just one they don't ever seem to really care about all that much, but they need it right now. So I think tomorrow's game becomes. For LSU, I think LSU is – I don't know how you guys feel. I think LSU is pretty much locked up a top 8.
Yeah.
But for South Carolina, they played themselves out of one, and they may need tomorrow to really feel good about hosting next week, which I don't think is a done deal.
So that was sort of the next question is what South Carolina is playing for. We could look at all the projections. What seems to be the consensus on this team and what they need to do in Hoover to secure themselves a regional host site?
I always think, and I know you guys agree, just the number 40 for a regular season, or at least a pre-NCAA tournament win total is 40. That looks really nice. And South Carolina today got number 39. A couple of bad midweek losses in the last 2 weeks kept them from getting there in the regular season. And this team, it's the only slump they've had, Matt, but it's a bad funk that they're in right now. They've won, 2 of their last 9 SEC games. And again, those 2 midweek losses and the final 2 of those of the year. This team is beat up. They have lost 2/3 of their rotation, and they're not coming back, at least not anytime soon. So the consensus is a big shrug of the shoulders, man. It's hard to figure out exactly who this ball club is. And I feel like 40 gets the job done, and especially if that 40th win came against LSU, who, of course, these two teams split and had Game 3 rained out in Columbia and canceled. So you get a de facto series winner tomorrow. But, boy, I feel like the Tigers are coming in with a lot more strength than the Gamecocks.
Who's going to pitch tomorrow for South Carolina?
Me.
Is it safe to say that I know Mark King's talking about Will Sanders is not going to throw this week?
Right.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. And Noah Hall is done for the year. That was announced. He was Carolina's number 2 starter and really probably best starter for this season. He's definitely done for the year. Sanders is definitely out this week, and we don't know about next week. And, with the way the Tennessee series unfolded here in Columbia this past weekend, everybody was supposed to obviously do Thursday through Saturday, but Thursday got rained out, so they had a doubleheader Saturday, actually. So you won't see any of Carolina's most recent weekend starters pitch tomorrow. They may throw a few innings on Thursday against whomever. I don't know who's going to start tomorrow, but I would certainly think that you would see 4 or 5 guys probably pitch.
Look, and Jay Phillips is our guest. 107.5 The Game up there in South Carolina. The same might be true for LSU. I mean, they're not going to throw Paul Skeens or Ty Floyd tomorrow, so you're probably going to see a midweek sort of approach. So it's probably going to come down to offenses. Looked like South Carolina got going today with 9 runs early and often. So what's working there for Carolina's offense?
This was actually unexpected, Matt. I'll be honest with you. To score 9 runs today the way they did, because I think South Carolina had scored 12 combined runs in their last 2 SEC series, and 6 of those came in one game against Tennessee, the only win they got against the Vols last weekend. So this offense has also gone into a funk. And there again, and you hate to say injuries and use it as like the only reason. And, the most diehard fans around here, and that's one thing I love about Carolina and LSU baseball fans, is those diehard ones, man. They almost seem to care about it as much, if not more, than football. It's I love it, but they're angry, and they're blaming Kingston for everything. But this team has gone into a funk because of injury, and some guys that were protecting certain hitters are no longer there to offer that protection, and I think it's made a difference. So for them to get 9 today, I think is a very big confidence booster. But I honestly, man, you asked me what's working, and not a lot right now. So today, a bit of an outlier relative to what Carolina's been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Jay Phillips is with us. Okay, so let's look at tomorrow then. Give me a thought for how you see the game from South Carolina's perspective going.
Again, like I told you, there's something to play for now. And for a program, like I mentioned, that really doesn't seem to put all that much into the SEC tournament, I do feel like there's a prize there. And that prize is knowing that you've done enough to host. I'll tell you that Mark Kingston already thinks they've done enough. He made mention of that in his post-game Saturday and in his, kind of pre-travel presser yesterday, that we think we've done enough. Well, okay, I can appreciate that. I don't know how the committee sees it. So I think, in terms of lining it up and what tomorrow looks like, again, you need to go beat a really strong LSU team and get your 40th win of the year. Get your second win over LSU. I think, Matt, I don't have it in front of me. I apologize, but I think South Carolina now has 20 quad 1 wins, which is the second most in the country. So that would certainly be another big feather in the cap for tomorrow. I just look, I don't, I don't hold back anything offensively. I don't want to go out there swinging, at everything. But it's a big ballpark, as you know. It's the only park like it that any SEC team plays in. It's the only, in my opinion, real pitcher's park, and it's obviously for a tournament. So, like today, no home runs, a lot of gappers. I think they only had one extra base hit, but they scored 9 runs. Just a bunch of singles, little bleeders, bloopers here and there. Same kind of thing. And if you're right, LSU also treats it like a midweek game, because I know Carolina pitching is going to treat it like a midweek game by necessity, not choice. Then it might be something like that. I could see this game easily being, 8-7 kind of a ball game, perhaps.
Of course, it was LSU South Carolina when the legend of Todd Peterson was formed back in the day. South Carolina is 5th in the RPI, 20-14. You're on the number, 20-14 against quad 1 opponents. So that's why, look, you play 31 quad 1 games. You're gonna, 20-14. So you're 34 quad 1 games. You're gonna have a pretty healthy RPI, which South Carolina certainly does. See how it goes the rest of the way. Jay, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Hey, before I go, I got to get a review of you went to see Steve Miller, right, a few weeks back at Jazz Fest.
I did.
Yeah. How was it?
Steve Miller sounded awesome. For a dude that's nearly 80 years old, just sounded incredible. But so bizarre, Jay. Like the first 5 out the chute were just bangers, just hit after hit after hit. And then he went into the deep freeze, man. It's like you got a 90-minute set. Just get out there, play the hits, and get your check and go home. Like right. I don't need the B side of your 72 studio album. Like, give me the hits and go home, man. Come on, Steve.
Yeah.
But he sounded great.
That's cool. I can't. One day I'm going to get down there and go to Jazz Fest. That's a musical bucket list kind of thing. So
it's made for you, dude. It's made for you.
Yeah. No, everybody tells me that. I got to go. I got to go.
All right, man. Well, we got to go, and I'll see you in Nashville here in about a month or so, man. Looking forward to it.
You will. Good stuff. All right, man. Always appreciate you.
You too, Jay. Thanks, man. Be well. That is Jay Phillips, 107.5 The Game there in South Carolina. We appreciate a couple of minutes. So Gamecocks are – I understand what Mark Kingston is saying. I mean, he's got to lobby for his team. But they have absolutely hit the skids over the last month of the season, and they are injured. You heard it. I mean, tomorrow is a game that is very likely going to be an offensive duel with LSU and South Carolina. The point I'll push back on that Jay said is there's no ballpark in the league that's like the Hoover Met. The dimensions of the box and the Hoover Met are almost identical. 385 to the alleys, 405 to straightaway center. I think the difference is the box is 330 down the line. The Hoover Met is 340. So 10 feet down the line. But the Hoover Met plays big. Don't misunderstand me. But the dimensions of the park are the same. The difference is when you play at South Carolina, you play in a bitty ballpark, which we talk about often. I hate that. I hate that ballpark. Like you're talking, I think I don't have it in front of me. 365 to the alleys. Isn't it 385 to straightaway center? I mean, you have a bitty ballpark, and so uppercut swings that are warning track flies or long fly ball outs of the box are moonshot homers at Carolina Stadium. So I mean, whatever. Yes. I'm going long here, but if we go back to when LSU played South Carolina, the thing I mentioned then was that's the type of team that needs their postseason run to go through their home park. Because if you're a team that everything you swing at, you are looking to elevate the baseball because it leaves your park, that plays at your park, it doesn't play at everybody's park. And that may be their issue with the Hoover Met. We'll see. Okay, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. I'll touch some beer with Feinswog next. Stay here.
AFR.
Speaking of beer, you want to go drink beer and eat wings? You can do it at Pluckers. Nicholson or Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out, or delivery. Great night to get by Pluckers. Look, every night's a great night to get by Pluckers. But Tuesday, remember, kids eat free. So kids are out of school, last week of school, maybe the last day of school. Get them by Pluckers. Kids eat free every Tuesday at Pluckers. Also, Tuesday, 8:30, Nicholson Sports Trivia. Our guy Hunt Palmer hosts it. Get on by. Test your sports knowledge. Win Pluckers gift cards. That's every Tuesday at Pluckers on Nicholson, 8:30 Sports Trivia. A lot going on, y'all. Of course, you got the SEC tournament. You want to be locked into every game of the SEC tournament? You can do that at Pluckers. Celtics, Heat. Will Miami close out Boston tonight in the Eastern Conference Finals? You can watch it at Pluckers. 7:30 tip. You can watch the SC Tournament. Every single MLB game all season long. One place to watch it all. Eat wings, drink beer. It's at Pluckers. You know, like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
There it is. The extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, Lee, how are you?
That was a long A there, Matt. Hi.
How was Sports Monday this week?
It couldn't have been better.
Yeah.
Sports 225. The season ender. Actually, last week, I guess, technically.
Yeah, technically.
With one Matt Moscona. And
yeah.
It's, I believe it's up on Sports 225 now.
I heard it was awesome.
I finally archived every YouTube. I finally got. Yeah, they're there. No, I didn't put yours up yet, obviously, because it's still airing on Cox 4, which is your view. Can I give you a date trivia?
Please.
So today is May 23rd. It is a big baseball day for birthdays. Today is the birthday of Skip Bertman, the legendary Skip Bertman. It's also the birthday of the not legendary Ronnie Rance, but extremely lovable Ronnie Rance, who, of course, is not only a baseball player for LSU and businessman media type, and owns the local minor league team, right?
The Rougarou. And I actually spoke to Ronnie earlier today. I had no idea it was his birthday. I feel negligent now that I did not wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, and it's Buck Showalter's birthday. But that's not why I'm telling you that it's May 23rd and it's their birthdays. It's also the birthday of Stacy Feinswog Ferris. That's her married name. My daughter. So she and Skip, it's always there were a couple of times that she was at the regionals when she was young on the same that day when it was her birthday.
Oh.
She's old. That makes me old as hell.
Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
Old.
You know what? I'm not even mad at you, Lee, for using this like Casey Kasem, giving a shout out, special request and dedication, whatever. Shout out, Stacy. Happy birthday. Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. I mean, why not?
Oh, that's very good. Very good.
There's
a lot of people listening who don't know who Casey Kasem was.
Keep reaching for the stars. I don't know. I think, look, our Muso, do you know who Casey Kasem is or was?
Famous radio jock, wasn't he?
Paul, do you know who Casey Kasem is or was?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. Two guys,
Right,
one in his late 20s, one in his early 30s, mid-30s.
There you
And they both know Casey Kasem. Transcendent Casey Kasem.
Excellent.
Okay. By the way, are you going to be watching any LSU baseball this postseason?
Yeah, NCAA. I can't imagine I would have the SEC tournament on, except for maybe on the side TV if there was nothing better. Right now the side TV's been pretty much reserved every night for either an NBA game or an NHL game, and whatever we're watching on the big TV. And the side TV, I like to tell you, of course, is a 60. Quite proud.
I mean,
it's,
Lee, at one point, bragging that you have a 60-inch TV.
No, it's a second TV. That's the second TV. The main TV is an 82. Thank you very much.
It doesn't matter because, like, an 82-inch TV now you can get for like $37. They're just not expensive anymore.
I wasn't bragging on its expense. I'm just bragging on how cool it is to have a 60 and an 82 to watch. The game you're not watching, if you will, off to the side.
I suppose. Who doesn't have a big TV anymore, though?
All right. What's amazing is you can go to hotel rooms now, and you can actually have like a 60 in your hotel room.
Yeah, wild. Yeah. Because they all cost $1.75. They're inexpensive now.
Oh, I got your Samsung or your LG right here.
Are you?
That's great.
So are you locked? Are you locked into the NBA playoffs?
Loving them.
I'm a little surprised by that.
But I don't know that.
Wait. The old school doesn't tend to love the modern NBA. Now, that's a broad generalization, but I can look at demographics of who is watching the NBA, and it is by far skewing youngest of any of the major professional American sports. So for you to be locked into the NBA is a little bit of a surprise. Why?
I've always enjoyed the NBA playoffs. I think it's they're out there. Everybody's open for business. Big, strong, talented players. And, I don't know what a Miami-Denver television rating is going to do for the NBA. I can't imagine it's going to be very good.
I know.
But,
how bad?
A lot of people taking great glee at LeBron James, losing and getting swept and whatever. Have you ever looked up his numbers by chance?
I mean, I haven't memorized LeBron's numbers, no.
Well, let me just throw a couple out there at you there. He is in the history of the NBA playoffs. He is not only the all-time leading playoff scorer. He has more than 2,000 points more than Michael Jordan.
He's also in his 20th NBA season.
Oh, no doubt. And he started young, and he's been, luckily for him, very durable. He's number 2 in assists. Second only to Magic Johnson. He's number 1 in steals. He's number 1 in defensive rebounds. Number 4 in rebounds overall. Number 10 in blocks.
I get the point. A lot of good numbers.
It's just unbelievable when you look at it and see what he's got.
Because it's not because he's an old player who's played a lot of games over a lot of years. He's magnificent. But I don't marvel at the stat accumulation because he's just played for a very long time. When you're LeBron, what matters is championships. No one's going to remember that he has more defensive rebounds than anybody in NBA playoff history. That is wholly irrelevant. He's only 10. It doesn't matter. What is relevant? Again, you just said it. I already forgot because it doesn't matter.
No, he's number 1. He's number 1 in defensive rebounds in playoffs. He's number 10 all-time defensive rebounds in just basketball, NBA.
What is relevant?
Regular season.
What is relevant?
What is
to
relevant?
LeBron in the context of a conversation that every conversation with LeBron is going to be about if he's the greatest ever, is how he stacks up to Michael Jordan, and he will never match that. He can't.
No, and well, I mean, if we had a pickup game, of course you'd take Michael Jordan if you each in their respective primes. And don't forget too, LeBron James is also the all-time turnover leader. In case you want that number.
But that's like Babe Ruth being the all-time strikeout leader because he's hit a lot of home runs, played for a long time, and struck out a bunch. That's okay.
You know what's interesting about playoff turnovers? It's just an odd number because I'm looking at it. He's the all-time leading playoff turnover leader with more than 300 more than Magic Johnson. But here's one for you. Who do you think's in third place of the most turnovers in NBA playoff history? You'll never get this in a million years.
George Michael.
Well, maybe in a million. No, Shaquille O'Neal.
I almost said Shaq, too. Gosh dog it.
Shaquille O'Neal, 649 turnovers.
Felt like you were setting me up for it.
That's what you get for asking me to think about things before we go on the air.
Well, I don't need the regurgitation. This isn't a fault of you. Whenever we have the LeBron convo, look, I was at Traction today. Okay, I went to Traction this morning, and there's a lot of
Are you hurt?
No, but I was working out. There's a lot of young guys.
Good.
Boy. I need a vacation from this interview now. Like, can I finish a sentence, Lee? God, dog.
I was saying good because you weren't hurt. I was glad.
Okay. I'm at Traction, working out. There's a lot of young athletes. They're in their off season that are working out. Bunch of dudes, in their early 20s. And they're all obviously LeBron fans because he's their generation. And so they start talking about it, and I get this, poop-eating grin on my face because they got swept last night. They're like, oh, you're a hater. I'm like, I'm not a hater. I understand that LeBron is magnificent. He is on a very, 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 very microscopically short list of players in consideration for the second best player of all time. And then they get all the eye rolls and everything like that. But you can look at it, and it's not just stat accumulation, Lee, because look, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 6 championships, and before LeBron was the NBA's all-time leading scorer. Nobody starts a list of the greatest basketball player ever with Kareem. Nobody does. Not a single human does. Like, there is a unanimous answer to that question. And for LeBron to ever overtake Michael, there needs to be, or anyone, there has to be a unanimous agreement, right? Don't we all agree that Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer ever and he has surpassed Jack Nicklaus? We all agree,
I'll
yes?
agree with that.
Okay.
Sure.
He's not going to break Jack's majors record because of all the injuries. But even Jack Nicklaus acknowledges that Tiger's the greatest golfer ever. So, I mean, I could point out that Bill Russell won 11 championships. It doesn't matter that he won more than Michael. We all agree Michael is the greatest basketball player ever. So the only way that ever changes is if Tom Brady comes along and everyone in the world who watches football agrees Tom Brady is the greatest football player ever. And that's where it is with the NBA with LeBron as well. He's a great player, arguably the second best player ever, but he's never going to beat Michael. Someone may eventually, but it's not LeBron.
Okay, we're not arguing, by the way. I was just saying that the LeBron haters, of which there are a lot today, and the guy's done pretty good.
He's awesome. But see, isn't that the sort of like the what's misconstrued with LeBron sometimes? Like, if I say he's not the greatest ever, that doesn't mean I'm a hater or I hate him or can't respect the fact that he is magnificent. He's just not the greatest ever.
Okay. You feel better now?
I was asking you.
No, I mean, well, you could go in a different direction if you had to do the 5 greatest players of all time. If you were going to put together a team of the 5 greatest players of all time, okay, would he be on that team?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you're older.
Michael Jordan, obviously.
You're older than me. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I would have him. I would go with Magic, Michael, LeBron, probably Kareem, and then it's a hell of a tournament for whoever's going to be that other guy, and whoever and if you were building a team to win, as compared to the 5 greatest players, you'd have to be thinking to yourself, all right, well, who's going to be my power forward? Who's going to do all the dirty work? Would that be Karl Malone? But he's not one of the 5 greatest players ever. And we were having this argument once a few years ago, me, Collis Temple, Big Collis, and Garrett. And Garrett said, well, who are you going to have shoot the 35-foot three-pointer? It's like Steph Curry's got to be on that team, because if not, you can't win if you don't have a guy shooting that long distance three. Whoever it is.
Mm.
So that's not an answer to the question.
No.
But
no. All right. What else do you have to promote before we talk about beer?
Well, I just can, go to sports225.com. You can finally watch old shows. It's the best of coming up. I did look at softball statistical trends, because you hinted in our text we might talk about softball just in the case. And I was curious to see, because it looks like now there's actually a whole lot more runs being scored when you watch women's college softball. But yes, over the course of maybe the last 30 years, but not over the course of the last 7 or 8 years.
I just didn't know if you had an opinion on LSU getting bounced by Southwest Louisiana last weekend.
The LSU softball and LSU gymnastics teams have knocked on the door and been closer than probably any sports teams ever.
Yeah.
It's fair to say, right? The gymnastics team has been as close as humanly possible without winning the NCAA title ever.
Yeah.
And the softball team's certainly been right there more times than not.
Yeah.
But I actually was thoroughly entertained watching that game the other day. And then also by the next time we talk, which could be millennium from now, because I know you're not going to be around next week, and who knows where I'll be after that. But Jim Brown died, and there's a lot of components to Jim Brown, the person, but as a football player, he is simply the best offensive football player I ever saw.
Okay, well, that's an interesting.
Period. Yeah, and the best defensive player was Lawrence Taylor. Two guys with a lot of interesting off the field personalities.
It is rare to
some
see
good, some bad.
An athlete from a foregone generation that could make it in the modern day, but there does seem to be consensus on Jim Brown that he could absolutely transcend and play today in the NFL, and not just play, but be elite. And I believe that.
Well, the damnedest thing about him, and also around the same time, Sandy Koufax, who was at his peak, was the best pitcher maybe ever, and walked away in his prime. Those two guys both did. So, there you go.
Well, to both
another
of them,
15 minutes of your life you can't get back.
To both of them, we will raise an ice cold beer. How about that?
Oh, what is the malted liquor? What gets you drunker quicker? What comes in bottles or in cans? Beer. Can't get enough of it. Beer. How we really love it. Beer. Makes me think I'm a man. Beer. I could kiss and hug it, but I'd rather chug it. Beer. Got my belly out to here. Beer. I could not refuse it. Beer. I could really use a beer. Beer. Beer.
Hey, it's weird. Like, literally as we're talking, because they're in a rain delay at the SEC tournament, they're showing Hold the Rope. There's Skip on my TV right there. Hold the Rope.
On his birthday.
Happy birthday, Skipper.
There you go. So I told you last week how I went out to Gila Brewing Company on Burnside in Gonzales.
Yeah.
Small place in a little strip mall. And I got to tell you, a couple of them that I tasted when I went were not what I expected, because I was sampling. I went for a couple of what I thought were sours. They turned out to be a little sweet. Another one, but I took some home, and I got to tell you, they're doing some great stuff. One of them is called Wit Dat. It's a Belgian wit beer.
Okay.
Another one is Easy Rider, a German Kolsch. Real simple. Great carbonation, just a wonderful tasting beer. Easy Rider. But
hey, what's a Kolsch? What's a Kolsch?
To me, it was just basically like a lager.
Okay.
But the one that I'm going with is called Enigmatic Parabol, and it surprised the hell out of me, Matt.
Oh, that's pretty.
Enigmatic Parabol is a double New England IPA. It's 8%. Comes in a 16-ounce can, and it is fantastic. I was so blown away because I was just not expecting. I just wasn't expecting it. And my guys out there, I hope you're not insulted by that. I had low expectations, but high satisfaction from this one. Enigmatic Parabol, and I'll read their notes. This circus sideshow, freakishly unique hops, pops with candied tropical fruit and vanilla from our combo of Eclipse and Strata hops. A heavily oated green bill provides a familiar and overwhelmingly warm palate pillow. How's that for writing? That sets the stage for an experience of mind, body, and soul. Spiral out, drink up, pry open that third eye, and learn to swim. We'll do the rest with this golden hazy double IPA clocking it at 8% that will remind you that you're not alone in this body and pain is an illusion.
A pallet pillow.
But anyway, if you're looking for something fun and different, and I got to make an effort to get to more of the local breweries. I go to Tin Roof occasionally, and there are others, but this one, Gila and Gonzales, well worth the trip for anybody. Another thing, I just wanted to say this before I left. There were people with little passports that look like passports, and the state of Louisiana maybe has it, or somebody, and they were getting their beer passports punched.
Oh, I'm just stunned that you're about to leave without getting a ding.
Well, I did watch AVP beach volleyball all weekend.
Hey, there it is. All right, Lee, have a great rest of your day. We appreciate it.
Go to sports225.com for TV show stuff and volleyballmag.com for volleyball stuff. Bye, Matt.
See ya. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. Get to NOLAflooring.com, NOLAflooring.com, or just go by New Orleans Flooring. You can buy today and they can install tomorrow, literally. They keep more than 1 million square foot of flooring in stock. What that means for you is they cut out the middleman. I mean, just think about it. On a normal day or with a normal product, you could have whatever flooring ends up on the floor in your home. That could touch 3 or 4 different hands before it gets to you. From the manufacturer to distributors to ultimately the retailer, you got to get by New Orleans Flooring because they cut out the middleman. They keep 1 million square foot of flooring in stock, so you go there, you buy it, they can install it tomorrow. They've already got it for you. It makes it quicker, and you can save 40, 50, 60%. Also, New Orleans Flooring has 12 months financing, same as cash. Learn more at NOLAflooring.com. 2 locations, Metairie and Airline Highway in Prairieville. And always online at NOLAflooring.com.
Get 3.99% financing at Corval Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. We also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2640.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
When a Saints rookie goes viral, typically you would hope it's for a good reason. This was a ridiculous one. Cue Derek Carr, if you would there, Muse.
Have you guys reviewed Jake's photo shoot from the rookie premiere?
Yes, we have. Yes. Why, yes, we have. I didn't take that class at Fresno State. I mean, I got some funny commercials, wearing an Aerosmith jacket and all that kind of stuff, but I don't remember doing that one. But we gave him a hard time like we do, but not too much. He enjoyed it. He laughed it off. But yeah, Coach Allen did a good job.
Yeah, I don't think Jake Haener could do anything but laugh it off because he brought it on himself. If you're not familiar, the NFL rookie photo shoot took place this past weekend, or at least the photos dropped, and Jake Haener did his best version of Derek Zoolander.
Oh, sure. I've been working on Magnum for at least the last 8 or 9 years.
I mean, look at these pictures of Jake Haener. If you haven't seen him yet, I mean, God bless him. I respect it tremendously. The fact that he went into this thing and decided, whenever you're in, if you were ever a high school athlete, or a lot of you college athletes, and you took your photo day, and if you're doing the baseball photo, you got the bat on your shoulder,
Yeah, I know, yeah. Or you're like on the one knee with the bat or things like that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Hand, maybe elbow on the knee pose. I remember, my offensive line pictures, they made us hold even though I was an offensive lineman, I had to hold a football under my arm, stand and hold it. You had to give the grimace face. Certainly Jake Haener could have done all that. He could have held the ball up to his ear, but instead he decided to go full on Zoolander. I mean, he's dropping blue steel on him right there. I mean, look at what he's got going on here. I mean, it. I
had to look and see which picture we were looking at because there's multiple.
I know.
mean, but that's the one that's really been making the rounds.
They've all looking longingly over his shoulder. That's a good one with his hand on his chin as he looks perplexed into the camera.
The thinking
almost
man.
like a thinking man, a plume of smoke behind him. I mean, it's God bless. This is like the new age Zoolander.
It's almost like there's a light around him. He exudes beauty.
If they ever decide to that's the one right there, you got to get the picture. So, there's one of him holding the ball in a throwing motion, but instead of being hips turned and square, he is hips looking at camera just straight on, he's about to just shot put it at you.
He looks like the actor that plays a quarterback in a bad TV series. That's what he looks like.
And he's tiny as well,
yes.
like an actor would be playing a quarterback in a bad TV series. Yes. It's exactly what it looks like. Good on you, Jake Haener.
He's almost too good looking.
Hey, Paco.
I'm not mad at you at all.
I had to get the last one in. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Hey, Paco. Freak gasoline accident. Gasoline fight accident. But incidentally, as stupid as the Jake Haener photo shoot stuff is, it's hilarious as well. There's actually really relevant news to the NFL. Did you see that the NFL has changed their bylaw that would allow for an emergency quarterback to dress? I don't know if you saw this. This is legitimately a thing. And look, unfortunately, we've seen situations. It actually arose in the NFC Championship game this year with San Francisco. They flat ran out of quarterbacks. And so as to prevent that from happening again, the NFL has allowed for a third quarterback, an emergency quarterback, to dress now. So someone asked me this morning, could this essentially free up a spot for Jake Haener? And not exactly, because the emergency quarterback still has to be on the 53-man roster. So whereas you have your 53-man roster, you have 8 inactives on a game day. Essentially, you would that emergency quarterback would be allowed to dress, but would not be part of the active. He'd be on the 53-man roster, wouldn't be active for game day. He would just be available as an emergency quarterback if you needed him. So it's not like you could just stash the quarterback on the practice squad, or you're not adding another spot to the 53-man roster. So he's still got to make the team. He's still got to make the 53, but you would just have an extra quarterback that would be a game day inactive that would be available in an emergency situation. So maybe that does Jake Haener's going to make the team. They used a 4th-round pick on him. They're not going to risk the possibility of Jake Haener being plucked away like what happened with Ian Book, where they cut him and signed him to the practice squad, and he got signed off the practice squad by Philly. So you're not going to let that happen with Jake Haener. I mean, he's going to be here, so he's going to make the 53, and you're going to carry 3 quarterbacks, and he's going to be inactive, but he'll be at least your emergency quarterback on game day. So that it is relevant for the guy the Saints drafted this year. Okay, it's after further review. You still have Tigers and the Pros coming up here in a second. Always remind you about Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. Check out Mold Zero. If you got mold or you need remediation work, Mold Zero can help you with it. Kill mold, remove odor. I tell you about it all the time. Don't worry about cutting sheetrock. Don't think you got to have some major invasive type of remediation work where they're pulling out furniture and carpet and cutting sheetrock. Don't do any of that. Mold Zero will come in. They'll spray their non-toxic patented dry fog treatment. If you want to learn more about it, like if you're really into it, you can go to the website. They've got the full U.S. Army Corps of Engineers report there at the website at mold-0usa.com. Or just give them a call. Let Jim explain the whole thing to you. The phone number's at the top of the website, 225 and a 504, but they service all of South Louisiana. It's Mold Zero, mold-0usa.com, mold-0usa.com. All right, it's after further review. Paul Mainieri in 15 minutes. I'm excited to have Coach join us. It's been a while since we had a chance to visit with him here on air, but Paul Mainieri dominated the SEC tournament. We got to jokingly refer to it as the Mainieri Invitational because his teams had so much success there. So, I want to talk to Coach about how do you have success at the SEC tournament? How do you manage a pitching staff in the SEC tournament? We'll delve into all of that with Coach Mainieri. Also, Coach is the one who signed Dylan Cruz. I want to talk to him about watching Dylan over 3 years. He had Rafe Rhymes, hit 400. Now here's Dylan chasing Rafe's record. You've got a guy like Paul Skeens, who's such a dominant number one. He had that with Aaron Nola. So how do you manage that going into a postseason? So a lot of similarities and a lot I want to talk about with Paul Mainieri. So we're excited to have him for 2 segments coming up in hour number 3. So we'll knock out a break. Muse will have Tigers and the Pros, and after SportsCenter, excited to have Paul Mainieri join us. So stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take a quick reminder, a quick second, remind you about ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com, ProChargeEV.com. Electric vehicles are becoming more and more prevalent. If you're driving down the interstate right now, wherever you may be, just kind of look around. Be careful, but look around. You will see electric vehicles everywhere. Well, those electric vehicles have to charge somewhere. So if they're out and about, why not charge at your place of business? Now, ProCharge will install EV chargers at your home or at whatever commercial building. Maybe you have an apartment complex. It could be an amenity for your tenants. Maybe it's an amenity for your employees or for your customers, or it becomes a revenue generator. At ProCharge, they'll install these EV chargers. There's tap-to-pay options, so you generate passive revenue just by having an EV charger at your place of business. Learn more. ProChargeEV.com.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Following deaths of multiple people by suspects who were supposed to be monitored by ankle monitors, state lawmakers are taking action and proposing changes to put more teeth into that monitoring. There's now a push to monitor the monitoring companies in an effort to hold them accountable if people aren't where they are supposed to be. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live
is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco, voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
The Seattle Seahawks made it official today with Anthony Bradford, signing him to his rookie deal.
Oh. They've resumed. They're in Hoover.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were. I thought you were talking about Anthony
no, they
Bradford.
haven't. Never mind.
No, 502.
These are just highlights.
That's what they're saying. 502. Could happen.
Yeah.
Probably not. Who's to say?
And
Anyway.
then after this, I got 2 more games.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to know why it's good to play at 9:30 a.m.? This is why it's good to play at 9:30 a.m.
Unless they don't get the rest of the games in today, and then you are not playing at 9:30 a.m.
You bite your tongue.
Could
You
happen.
shut your face.
We've seen it happen.
You shut your face.
Happened like remember last year? They were like a full.
Shut your face.
They were like a full day behind
Yes.
last year. It was
They-
terrible.
They skipped a full day.
Yeah, it was
And
awful.
we started talking like, are they just going to like go to single elimination?
Yeah.
I remember asking Peter Burns. He's like, nope, they always find a way to get it in.
And they did. By Sunday. Yeah, in time for the selection show. Anyway, we don't have the full terms of the deal for Bradford's rookie deal yet, but 4th-round pick out of LSU, now a member of the Seahawks, officially was the 7th of their 10 draft picks that they signed. MLB last night, Alex Bregman, number 2 hole in the Astros order. Boy, they put it on the Brewers last night. 2 for 6 was Bregman. Scored 2 runs, drove in a run as well. Both of his hits were singles. 12-2, the Astros winners over Milwaukee. Alex Lang was at it again last night for the Detroit Tigers. They beat the Royals 8-5. It was Lang who got the win in relief. 2 shutout innings, didn't allow a hit, walked 1, struck out 2. Now 2-0 on the year to go along with the 7 saves and an ERA of 0.89.
Langa.
It's a long way still to July and the Midsummer Classic, but man, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com. For Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of pop with a question, graduation season's here. Maybe as you walk across the stage with that degree and you're looking to walk into that next phase of life, first walk into Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Pick out that beautiful sparkling diamond, sure to thrill her and make you a hero. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. Again, learn more, LMFJ.com, LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, it's after further review. I'm fired up about this. Paul Mainieri is going to join us in just right after SportsCenter. So top of the hour is coming up. We're staring you straight in the face. Looking forward to having Coach Mainieri join us, talk a little bit about the SEC tournament, how you manage strategy through this. Want to talk about this LSU team as well. A lot of guys on the team he recruited. I mean, Gavin Dugas back in the day, Cade Beloso now a super senior as well, and some guys like Trey Morgan and Jordan Thompson who are heading toward the draft. So it's a perfect time to have Coach on the show, and we're looking forward to doing it. We'll spend a couple of segments with Paul Mainieri coming up right here after the top of the hour. All right, they are just about set to resume. Texas A&M leading Tennessee 3-0. They've been in a rain delay since we started the show, and they're going to resume here in the top of the ninth inning and see if they can finish this one off. And then 2 more games to play after this tonight. LSU and South Carolina scheduled for 9:30 first pitch tomorrow. Okay, hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com, TractionSports.com, where champions are made. I was at Traction earlier today, had an awesome workout. Tell you all the time, no matter where you are, whatever phase of your life you're in, you want to be bigger, stronger, faster, Traction can help. I do one-on-one training with Tevin over there. Look, I'm in there where there's a lot of pro athletes getting ready for their season during their off season. Maybe it's for your son or daughter, no matter what sport they play. If it's football or basketball or basketball or lacrosse or tennis or gymnastics or whatever the sport may be, if you want them to be bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive, more flexible, agility, whatever it is, to be the best they can be in their specific sport, Traction can help them get there. Another reminder, the Traction Summer Baseball League and Traction Summer Baseball Camps, registration open right now. You're thinking about summer baseball for your son, thinking about baseball camps for your son or daughter, TractionSports.com. Get there right now. Traction, where champions are made.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The importance of doing this Fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the Fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a Fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Celtics on the brink of elimination when they take on the Heat. Game 4 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Boston coming off a humiliating loss in Miami in Game 3, one in which Jason Tatum scored just 14 points on 6 of 18 shooting. None of that, though, matters at this point, says Tatum.
I just got to do whatever it takes for us to win. And, whether I've been playing great or not, we're down 0-3, so it hasn't been good enough. So I got to do more. We all got to do more to do what we want to do.
Celtics forward Jason Tatum has told to the NBA on ESPN Radio, in all of pro sports, only 5 teams have ever come back from a 3-0 deficit to win a playoff series, 1 in baseball, 4 in hockey, none from the NBA. Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers strained his calf in conditioning drills today, downplayed the injury, said he doesn't think it's too serious. NFL owners voted to tweak the fair catch kickoff rule this season. A fair catch on a kickoff placed at the 25-yard line, regardless of where it is fielded. Concussion rates on kickoffs have surged over the past 2 seasons.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tumplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And I am fired up for this. I said it many times. In all the years I've been fortunate enough to do this job, one of the favorite coaches I've ever had the pleasure to cover was Paul Mainieri. Always generous with his time, amazing candor, and amazing success. Guy won a national championship and won the SEC tournament 6 times during his time in Baton Rouge. So it was a perfect time to get Paul Mainieri here on the show, and Coach is good enough to join us. Coach, how are you?
I'm good, Matt. Just finished 18 holes and riding home and enjoying talking to you already.
How did you hit them?
Often.
Hey, jokes. Hey, Coach, I mentioned on the intro, you won the SEC tournament 6 times, and we kind of jokingly referred to it as the Mainieri Invitational by the time you were done. I know you've answered this question a million times, but how were your teams, aside from great players and great coaches, but how were your teams able to have so much success in that event?
Well, it took a lot of good ball players, number one, and they were very focused, and they played loose and confident, and we wanted to win every time we stepped on the field. Every time you put that LSU jersey on over your head, you have an obligation to the fans and to the school and to your players and the staff, that you wanted to go out there and give it your very best effort to try to win. And, I always felt, Matt, that the SEC tournament was kind of a reward after a 30-game grind, which is the regular season. And, when you finish that 30-game regular season schedule in conference play, and you get to go into a tournament, knowing that you're going to be in the NCAA tournament, knowing that you might be a national seed or a host, whatever, there's not a lot of pressure from that standpoint. The season doesn't depend on what you're doing in most cases, most seasons. And I always told the kids, look, this is a reward, and let's go have fun, and let's go let it rip. We're going to play all ranked teams, so we're going to measure ourselves against some of the best teams in the country. But we're going to go out there and try to win. Within reason, we're not going to bring guys back on short rest and do crazy stuff like that. But when the guys step on the field, they were focused and they wanted to play and they wanted to represent LSU the right way. And it's always fun winning championships. And there's nothing wrong with learning how to win championships, learning how to win tournaments. And I always thought that was important for our guys as well. So, they went out there and played really well in most years, and we had a lot of fun winning those championships. Nobody could ever tell me it doesn't matter when you go see all those kids dogpiling on the mound. I don't care which school it is. Whichever school wins that SEC tournament is going to dogpile on the pitcher's mound. Yeah. You can't tell me everybody's not trying to win.
Yeah. It's and it's a great point also about learning to win in a tournament, because putting your rotation together or your roster together for a weekend is different than preparing to win a tournament, which is ultimately what you have to do in Omaha. So you mentioned you were a national seed 6 consecutive years. I think that's only been done one other time. I think Stanford did it. I know if I'm wrong, you'll correct me because you'll know that off the top. But did you go into Hoover, because I think LSU this year, Coach, has a national seed locked up. I think we'd agree. Did you go into Hoover ever maybe altering your approach because you felt like you had a national seed locked up?
No, not really. I think if you have a national seed locked up with the format that we have now in the SEC tournament, you're going to play a minimum of 2 games beginning on Wednesday. So, the first game, I don't remember exactly how we approached it every year, but you either brought back your number 1 starter on 5 days rest, 1 day shorter than normal, or you could go with your number 3 starter if you didn't pitch him in the final weekend series. Some years we didn't pitch our number 3 starter on the final weekend series to start him on Wednesday. But you had to assume you're going to win one of the first 2 games, which would allow you then to get a third game. So that way you got all 3 of your top starting pitchers a start on the weekend, which I thought was important because you didn't want to go 2 weeks essentially without a starting pitcher pitching a game before the regional. And typically if you were a 1 seed that you were going to host and you were going to probably pitch off in game 1 against the 4 seed. So your Friday night starter typically wasn't going to pitch until Saturday. So when you figure that he pitched Thursday, the final weekend, a lot of times I would have him pitch on Thursday, game 2, because he wasn't going to be pitching against until the following Saturday. And you don't want too long of a break between starts. So sometimes you gerrymandered your rotation a little bit just to set it up for the regional. But I just wanted to make sure, too, that our top 3 starting pitchers were going to have a chance to start a game. And sometimes I set it up the way that we would pitch it on the regional, with number 3 starter game 1, number 1 starter game 2, and then number 2 starter game 3.
It may be similar to how LSU approaches this week. And I'm going to get to this in a bit, Coach, but I do want to circle back, and I want to talk about Paul Skeens and managing a guy like that. I mean, you obviously had to do it with Aaron Nola, so I want to come to that. But the other one I had is, specifically to this week, LSU's going to play tomorrow at 9:30. They're going to have the morning start. It's just atypical, right? You don't normally play baseball at 9:30 in the morning, but there's also a great benefit. As Coach, I know you were playing golf today, but the game 2 between Tennessee and Texas A&M just was in an hours-long rain delay, right? So maybe the benefit is knowing your start time. So how would you view that when you have to play the first game of the day like LSU will tomorrow?
Well, again, like you just said, Matt, I always looked at that as being an advantage, and that was a lot of reason why we used to play game 1 of the regional on Friday afternoon, is because if the weather became an issue, you didn't want your team being delayed and not knowing when you were going to play. If it rained, the first game got in on Friday and then it rained the rest of the day. Now you're playing a noon game on Saturday. I never wanted to do that. So I always thought our team was the priority to get the game in. So I always, whatever the circumstances were, Matt, for the SEC tournament, I just always tried to put a positive spin on it with our players. In the case of the 9:30 game, hey, we get to play first and then relax the rest of the day. If we had the late game, then I put a positive spin on that as well. But you just didn't want your players making excuses, no matter what the cards were dealt.
What about the positive spin on letting our guy Todd Peterson get out there and swing the sticks against South Carolina?
Todd Peterson.
That one will live on forever, man.
Oh, Todd Peterson.
With Todd, yeah.
Todd Peterson.
it's so amazing, honestly, Matt, because, you know, we had 15 years and there were a lot of great moments, national championship trips to Omaha, SEC championships, etc. But it seems that I get asked more about Todd Peterson batting against South Carolina, Arizona last year, and the bag boy at the golf club was putting my bag on the golf cart, and he brought up Todd Peterson to me. And I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. Are you kidding me?
Oh man, what a legend! I mean, I mean, you want to go viral? That's a way to do it. Coach, are you good to hang on for one more segment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I appreciate it. Paul Mainieri's with us. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I want to delve into, obviously, Dylan Cruz. I mean, look, Coach Mainieri had a guy in Rafe Rhymes hit 400. Dylan is chasing Rafe's record. And obviously, Coach recruited Dylan Cruz. I want to talk about managing Paul Skeens. Coach had to do it with Aaron Nola. So a lot of stuff I want to get to here as the Tigers make their push here into the postseason. Glad to have Coach Mainieri for a couple of minutes. Let me knock out a break. We'll continue next.
AFR.
And I love every day getting an opportunity to tell you about our friends over at the Watermark and the Renaissance, two amazing hotel properties right here in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance, as they call it, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet near I-10. And both properties have amazing restaurant opportunities for you as well, restaurant options. At the Renaissance, we tell you every day about Tallulah. It's casual, upscale dining. Don't think of it like a hotel restaurant. This is a restaurant that's just inside of the Renaissance Hotel. It's open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day of the week, and it's affordable. It's fast. If you're thinking next time you have a business lunch and you do the whole thing, where you want to go, where do you want to go, I don't know, I don't recommend Tallulah inside the Renaissance. You'll be thrilled. And, of course, the Gregory, which is inside of the Watermark downtown, they have a charcoal oven inside of the restaurant. When you walk into the lobby, all of those beautiful charcoal aromas waft all the way through the lobby. It's gorgeous. It's the Gregory inside of the Watermark Hotel.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. Where personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Always a pleasure when we get a couple of minutes with Paul Mainieri. Coach is good enough to hang on with us here for a second segment so we can talk about some of the guys in this team as LSU made its march into the postseason. Coach, I did want to ask about Dylan, who, I mean, look, you obviously recruited him, got him to campus, and what a season, what a career he's had here. Can you take us back, though, to recruiting Dylan Cruz and what that was like and when you found out you were getting him to campus?
Yeah, well, not only did we recruit him, we coached him his freshman year as well.
Of course.
So I know Dylan. I have a great relationship with Dylan, and Dylan was obviously, when he was in high school, even as a 10th grader, you could see there was something really special about him. And I think he was the number one rated player in the country during his sophomore and junior years. During the summer, and then he committed to us, and we were very excited about him, much like we were excited when we signed Alex Bregman. But we also knew that it would probably be an upset, a long shot, that he would even make it to campus because of the draft and the way that works, But we took a chance, and like Bregman had an unfortunate injury before the first game of his senior year, and so he basically missed his whole senior year, and that ended up making him drop in the draft a little bit, and he ended up coming to school. In Dylan's case, he just had a really tough summer before his senior year. He ran up against some really outstanding pitching, and he got in a slump, and slumps can happen in baseball. And he just, didn't light it up the summer before his senior year, which is an important time in the scouting business. And then, of course, in the springtime, we had the pandemic, and so his season got cut short. So with the draft only being 5 rounds in his senior year, it was a gamble whether or not a team would take him in the first round because most clubs were taking college-age players. They were less risky when you only had 5 picks. And so Dylan called me one day before the draft, and he said, look, I don't think I'm going to go as high as I thought I would, and I really want to come to school anyway. I want to experience LSU, so I think I'm going to pull myself out of the draft. Man, I was driving down Perkins Road. I almost drove off the road when he told me that because I was so excited. I had to pull into a parking lot to just compose myself because I knew the kid was going to come to school and he was going to be a really special player for us. And he's had a remarkable career, now 2-time SEC Player of the Year. He's going to be one of the top 2 picks in the draft. I don't know if Skeens is going to be 1 or Cruz 2 or vice versa, but it's really remarkable that the career that Dylan has had. He's a wonderful young man. He cares about the right stuff. He works extremely hard, and he's going to be a tremendous Major League Baseball player in a very short order.
Coach, we talked to Rafe yesterday on the show, and I just wanted some perspective from a guy who obviously Rafe has the single season batting average record of 431, and Dylan right now is at 429, so he's 2 points off of Rafe's record. What was it like watching Rafe go through that in that season? It's maybe a better way to ask it, Coach, is that more of a fan and media talking point, the average in that chase, or is that something that he focuses on?
Well, I don't know how much anyone focuses on their batting average, but I don't know how you could avoid it when Rafe was doing it. He in his 200th at bat of the year, he got his 100th hit. So he was hitting 500 after 200 at bats. I mean, that's unbelievable. Well, I think the Advocate was putting a picture of him in the paper every day and, keeping track of where he was. So it was pretty hard to ignore the fact that he was doing something remarkable. But Rafe was such a team player, and he was such a clutch hitter. When I think of Rafe Rhymes, I think of RBI singles up the middle with 2 outs, and it seemed like every time he had a runner in scoring position, he would come through with a clutch hit. He was a tremendous ball player for us, just one of the best that we've ever had at LSU, and had a remarkable career. That was his junior year. His senior year, everybody thought he had a lousy year. He hit like 390 or something, But, Dylan and Rafe, they set such a high bar for their performance. And, it's a lot of pressure on those kids, but they both have known exactly how to handle it. and they both should be really proud of what they've done at LSU. Dylan has a few more tools than Rafe had with regard to hitting for power and defense and so forth. And so, he's going to be a better major league prospect, but that's not to take away anything from what Rafe Rhymes did in his career here at LSU.
It's hit nearly 400 over 3 years. 431 has got the record. I mean, there was no arguing against what Rafe did. And he's a great guy, too. I mean, we enjoyed talking to Rafe yesterday. And, the really interesting thing, you talk about Rafe, was hitting 500, 200 base through the season. 3 weeks ago, Coach Dylan Cruz was flirting with 500. And, I mean, I'm using this in air quotes. He's in a slump. He's only at 429 right now. But do you? I know you get to watch the team a good bit, but what have you noticed with Dylan over the last 3 weeks as he's gone through this mini speed bump?
Well, what I've noticed is that he's still playing the game hard. He's still playing center field like a major leaguer. He's still hustling everywhere he goes. Hey, this guy goes 2 for 5 and his batting average drops. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I mean, I don't call that a slump. All right. When Alex Bregman went through a difficult time in his sophomore year, he kept playing tremendous defense. He kept being a great teammate. He hustled everywhere he went. And I told him that, the way he handled that slump is going to serve him well in professional baseball because you're going to have slumps. And, Bregman started out his major league career 1 for 36.
Yep.
But he kept playing with the right attitude and eventually came out of it, and you can see what he's done. And this experience of not being locked in, and the ball looking like a beach ball for him is going to serve him well when he's in professional baseball because you're going to go through slumps. And Dylan, there's an old saying that adversity doesn't build character, it displays character. And that's what it did with Alex Bregman. That's what it's doing with Dylan. Dylan's the same kid, and he's going to be just fine. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gets hot again in postseason here.
We got a couple more minutes here with Coach Paul Mainieri. I also wanted to talk about Paul Skeens and kind of drawing the comparison with having Aaron, who of course was a two-time SEC Pitcher of the Year and a National Pitcher of the Year, and just an anchor that every time you gave him the ball, you felt you were going to win. But did having that guy, or how does having that guy at the front of your rotation alter or affect the way you think about not only a weekend, but as we head toward regional play and then super regionals and hopefully for this team, Omaha?
Yeah, well, it's a great asset. It's a great advantage to have that guy, and that's how I felt when we had Nola. You felt like every weekend he was going to win you Friday's game, and now you just had to split the last 2 games in order to win the series. And if you won game 2, you're going for the sweep on Sunday. You never got swept because you had Nola pitching, and I'm sure Jay feels that way about Skeens. This kid's really outstanding. I mean, he's remarkable. When he first left the Air Force Academy, I was a little bit disappointed because I had a lot of affection for the Air Force Academy and their baseball coach there, Mike Kozlowski, who did such a great job with Paul Skeens his first 2 years. I hated to see him leave the program there. But after watching him pitch at LSU, I can see why he had to make that decision. I mean, he's going to be one of the top 2 picks in the draft, and it's going to be life-changing money, and he's going to have a long career in the big leagues, assuming he stays healthy. Skeens has probably been the most dominating pitcher I've seen in my lifetime of watching college baseball. I mean, a guy throwing 100 miles an hour with a wipeout slider and great control and athleticism and a competitive attitude. It just doesn't get any better than that. So it's a great advantage. It's a generational type of player that you get, and in the future you're going to have to adjust because you may not have that guy that's that dominant ever again. Yeah. But it's a great asset to have, but can't win it all with just one pitcher. So you got to develop the rest of your staff, and this postseason is going to tell the tale.
Coach, you and I have had this conversation before, on air and off, about how you manage a pitcher like that with that load. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Nola, I think, skipped a start, maybe the Ole Miss start, his sophomore year?
Yeah, his sophomore year he missed one start just because of a little arm fatigue, and then he was fine. We handled Aaron with white gloves, really,
right.
because
yeah.
we knew he had a great career ahead of him, and he's proving that to be true. And the financial implications for him individually to try to keep him healthy were going to be huge, and I think that's proving out as well. So we just always cared so much about Aaron and his long-term career that, we had to balance that with what he was doing at LSU and helping LSU. Aaron was so great. I think he was 30-5 in his career with us. I remember senior year at one stretch, he threw 4 straight complete games, but he never threw more than 108 pitches in any of those games. Every complete game was like 102 to 108 pitches. The consistency was remarkable. But I think Jay has done a great job with Skeens this year, too. He's kept his pitch count very reasonable in every game. I'm sure he was tempted to try to send him out there for an extra inning a lot, but he didn't do it, and I think you got to give Jay a lot of credit for keeping the kid's best interest at heart.
Yeah. I know you and I have had that conversation a bunch about how you manage guys like this and how important that is. By the way, your recall continues to be perfect. Arkansas, Bama, South Carolina, Florida, 4 consecutive complete games, 110, 109, 112, 108 on the pitch count for Nova back in 2013.
I was off by a few pitches. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean it is amazing to me your ability to recall like exact pitches, sequences, stuff like that. Like not everybody has that, and it is kind of amazing. Coach, I'm not going to take up much more of your time, but I did want to ask, when you look ahead, for this team, this LSU baseball team, they've got Skeens, look, they've got Cruz, they've got so much talent. Look, Jordan Thompson's playing great, and Trey Morgan, guys you obviously coached early in their career. How do you just sort of project with this team to manage how they're going to make it to regional, super regional, Omaha? What needs to go well for this team to be able to make that deep run? We hope they all do.
Well, I think it's been well chronicled. The pitching depth is going to be tested. Ty Floyd, I always thought had a world of potential, and that he's putting it together, and I think he's showing what he's capable of doing. They certainly have the arms. I mean, I've never seen such a deep staff of power arms. I mean, they must have a dozen guys that throw 92 to 95 miles an hour. So they have the physical tools to do it. They just have to get the job done. And that's just that's the challenge of coaching, is to get players to realize their potential and then to do it, and to do it when the season's on the line, when the pressure is the greatest. But I think the other thing, if there is a concern, is the defense. The defense has been pretty good for most of the year. When Skeens is striking out a dozen batters or 15 batters, it's pretty hard to play bad defense, right, because there's very few balls being put in play. But when the guys that are in the game are not striking everybody out, you've got to make the plays. And I think pitching and defense is what rears its head in postseason play, along with clutch hitting. There's no question that the team has as much power as any team in the country, but those clutch hits, the Ray Frines 2-out RBI singles, play huge in postseason as well. So, it's not easy to win college baseball games. I always said that to our players, and you got to do the little things that it takes to win. It's not just a matter of out-talenting teams, because all the best teams in the country have outstanding talent. Nobody's got more talent than LSU, but Florida's not that far behind, and Arkansas is not that far behind, and Wake Forest is not that far behind. So you got to do the little things. You got to play defense. You got to make clutch pitches. You got to get clutch hits. I always said, when you get to the postseason, not only do you have to be talented, but you have to play well at the right time, and you have to have a little bit of luck. And hopefully it'll all fall in place for the Tigers this postseason.
It's such a fun time of year. It's all getting cranked up. 39 seasons, 15 of them at LSU, more than 1,500 wins. Of course, the 2009 national champion, and about in every Hall of Fame you can imagine. He's Paul Mainieri. And, of course, Coach, looking forward this summer to seeing you go into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame as well. That's going to be a great day up there in Natchitoches. We always appreciate a couple of minutes, Coach. Thank you so much.
Good to be with you, Matt. Take care.
It's our pleasure. That is Paul Mainieri spending a couple of minutes. Great time to get Coach on. And I mean that seriously about his recall. Was fortunate enough to have dinner with Coach. Maybe this was in February at dinner, and I mean this. It's we joke about it sometimes with Terrio because he doesn't remember a lot about his playing days. But I'll tell you often, like a guy like Alan Risher, if you remember, Alan who played quarterback at LSU and in the NFL and the USFL, and Alan did radio with us for a lot of years. Alan's recall is amazing. Like, I could talk to Alan about a game he played. I could say, Alan, what did you do against Ole Miss in 82? Like, and he'll just go. He'll just know his stat line, exactly what he did. He could remember exactly how he overthrew a guy at this yard line. I mean, just everything. And Coach Mainieri is very similar in that respect. It's amazing to sit and listen to him talk when he could run through a pitch sequence of a game. If you pointed out a game that he was coaching at Air Force, like he could run through a pitch sequence of a game that mattered and the conversations he was having in the dugout. It's kind of amazing when coaches at that level have that kind of recall. Have you ever heard, like, you've heard LeBron do this. Have you ever seen LeBron in post-game press conferences when his recall of the sequences of an entire game, like in the post-game press conference? He can say, we got the layup, and then he hit the three, and then a missed shot, and then the floater in the lane, and then, like, he can. Some of those dudes are just they're different. They're programmed that way, and it's always fascinating to sit and listen to them have those conversations. Like Paul just rattled off Nola's pitch count for 4 straight starts back in 2013. It's been 10 years, but he remembers them. So anyway, good time to have Coach Mainieri on. We appreciate his time as always. We'll knock out a quick break. Brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. By the way, Coach Mainieri is a patient of Dr. Blake Williamson. He had the lens replacement surgery. Early in his career at LSU, Paul Mainieri wore glasses, and then later in his career he didn't. Well, he had surgery with the Williamson Eye Center. So, I mean, you go into the Williamson Eye Center right there on Bluebonnet, the campus, like on the Baton Rouge General campus, and you'll see they have this wall. It's almost like this wall of champions of sorts. It's all the professional athletes and coaches and everybody that Dr. Blake Williamson has operated on over the years, from Devin White and Caleb Von Chasson and Paul Mainieri and Warren Morris, Patrick Coogan, so many great players over the years. The Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020. If you want to see 2020 without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. That's Williamson, EYE.com. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review, and we're glad to have you hanging out with us here as we move along. A&M did finish off Tennessee there at the SEC tournament, so the second game of the day now in the books, finally. They still got 2 more to go. Alabama and Kentucky, they are 18 minutes and 40 seconds away from first pitch of the third game of the day, and then it'll be a late start tonight for the fourth game there at the SEC tournament. But as now, of course, LSU and South Carolina scheduled for 9:30 first pitch tomorrow morning there in Hoover. Okay, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We will continue. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. I always love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Kathleen Moraine, who said, Russell, her technician, was on time, professional, and fixed everything. Explained everything as he went along, too. It's one of the things that's always impressive about River City's 1 Hour Air. Their technicians are expertly trained, and they take so much time for continuing education to make sure their technicians have all the latest technology, all the latest information of all the latest practices in HVAC. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. And when they come to the house, they want to make sure you're comfortable. So you get a call, you'll get an email, and you'll get a text all simultaneously alerting you the technician's on the way with the name of the technician, that technician's photo, and Google reviews of that technician from previous customers. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco when it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
When most people think of Roger Goodell, this is what most people think of when they think of Roger Goodell.
Let's go, Las Vegas!
I love that he laughs at them. Play it again. Like he laughs at them booing him.
Let's go, Las Vegas!
Oh, man. Roger Goodell.
Such a cringy laugh, too.
You know Roger Goodell's net worth?
I'll say $100 million.
$250 million. 250. Yeah, I'd laugh too if a bunch of yahoos at a who came out to watch me read names on a card were booing me. I'd laugh too. Owners are close to extending Roger Goodell's deal through 2027. A lot of people may look at that and go, man, why in the world will these owners keep extending Roger Goodell? He sucks. Roger Goodell took over as commissioner of the NFL back on September the 1st of 2006. The average NFL team value when Roger Goodell became commissioner, $898 million. Today, the least valuable NFL franchise, the Cincinnati Bengals, are worth $3 billion, nearly 4 times what they were worth. I'm sorry, 4 times what the average franchise was worth when Roger Goodell took over. He has successfully negotiated massive TV contracts. He has instituted Thursday Night Football, which, by the way, just did a deal with Amazon worth $1 billion per year, billion with a B. He put the draft in prime time. He has moved the draft around to remote locations. Under Roger Goodell's watch, the NFL has successfully become a 12-month calendar. They are never out of sight, out of mind. The owners hire Roger Goodell to make them more money, and he has done that exceptionally well. Yes, fans largely hate him because he is the figurehead for the league. So when we complain about something with the league, he's the one that we throw the darts at. It don't mean he's done a bad job. His job is to make the NFL owners more money. And he has done that at an exceptional rate over his 15-plus years in that seat. Play the booze again. I love it. Play the booze again.
Let's go, Las Vegas!
Oh, my God. I get it. I hate him, too. We all do. Nolan, no, I get it. But you wonder why the NFL owners keep extending him? That's why. His job is make them money. And that dude has made them all lots of money. Okay. We're brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Man, I love telling you about Relief Windows. Brandon, Holly, and the gang, God, they do awesome work. So proud to call Brandon a friend. As good and ethical a man as you'd ever want to meet. He and Adrian have built an enormous company, and they've done it because they treat people right. They measure twice and install once, and as Brandon always says to me, you've got to be willing, as a business owner, you've got to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And when that's your vision, when that's your motivation, when that's your line of sight, you can't go wrong because people are going to understand how genuine you are, and that's Relief Windows. They'll beautify your home. They'll make your home more energy efficient, and they're going to treat you great. Lifetime warranty on labor, material, and glass breakage. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Windows, door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. All right, SEC tournament over there in Hoover. We'll kind of get you caught up. By the way, it's been a busy day. Not just SEC tournament, but Saints had OTAs earlier today. The fantastic news, of course, is that Foster Moreau was out there for OTAs. Rookie offensive lineman Nick Saldivari was not, dealing with a calf strain, so he was not participating in OTAs. But we got to hear from Dennis Allen, got to hear from Derek Carr as well out there on the first day of Saints OTAs, which are voluntary. And the fact that they had 90% participation for voluntary workouts in May is a really good sign of what's ahead for the New Orleans Saints. If you miss any of that, you can catch us on demand, AFR on demand, presented by Brett Golf. Talked a good bit about Saints OTAs earlier in the show, and we followed plenty of the SEC tournament. By the way, we do now have this via release. LSU and South Carolina have each announced their starting pitchers for tomorrow's game. They'll play at 9:30 a.m. LSU will start Thatcher Hurd. So Thatcher Hurd will go opposite sophomore righty Eli Jones. Eli Jones pitched in both games against LSU in Columbia, and in both games he was victimized by Cade Beloso. Beloso hit the homer on him in the ninth inning of Game 1 on Thursday, and then in the eighth inning, and then right in the eighth inning, and then the ninth inning, Beloso got the RBI single in Game 2, which ultimately gave LSU the 8-7 lead. So Eli Jones pitched against LSU in both games, 46 innings pitched on the season, 57 strikeouts, and 46 and a third innings pitched. He's got an ERA of 3.88, but LSU touched him up a little bit back in Columbia. And then, of course, it'll be Thatcher Hurd for the Tigers. So Hurd was awesome in relief. Game 1 behind Paul Skeens, gave LSU 5 innings. He gave up, of course, the 2 homers in the ninth to tie it, but then was great in the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, and allowed LSU's offense to get going and ultimately win that ball game this past weekend against Georgia in Athens. So Hurd will get the ball on plenty of rest, and he'll go opposite Eli Jones when LSU and South Carolina play at 9:30 on Wednesday morning there in Hoover. One more. I'll let you hear from Jay Johnson, who talked about. Can you play number 3, please? This was Jay Johnson talking about his approach here to the SEC tournament this week.
It's a unique situation. This team's done such a good job with the regular season schedule. Like, we've played our way to where we want to be and playing postseason baseball at home. And so that's ultimately, I want these guys to get to Omaha. I want them to experience Omaha. And so the tournament that's going to decide that, we've done what we need to do, in regards to that. With that being said, we don't cancel games that we schedule, for any reason. We've talked about that before. And if you put the Tiger uniform on, there's an expectation that we're competing to win. Like I said, these guys are winners, and we play to win. I'll be the one that'll make the decisions, maybe what's in the best interest of next week. But, Dylan Cruz is going to step in the box, and you're gonna compete, to beat that pitcher's tail, and whoever we put on a mound at whatever time, they're gonna try to execute.
You play to win, but you're not going to compromise your opportunity to win next week to win this week. But it'll get started for LSU tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Of course, by the time we hit the air, LSU and South Carolina will be finished. So we'll know if the Tigers are moving on in the winner's bracket or the loser's bracket. Tomorrow's AFR will be a de facto postgame show for LSU South Carolina and a pregame of whatever's to come for LSU on Thursday, excuse me. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break. We'll come back here. We'll do a little Otter Locks. Jimmy will be with us to find out what we're betting on tonight. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's. Man, what an honor. Rouse's had their banquet last night, and we were invited. Our Guarantee Media here, we're invited. And Rouse's named Guarantee Media their media partner of the year. What an extreme honor. Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 was in attendance, as was our COO, TJ Solis, and Michelle Galvez, who's done an awesome job as the account manager for Rouse's. But look, we're just a small part of that, and we're thrilled every day to sit here and tell you about Rouse's and the partners that they've been. Listen, we work here at Guarantee Media, and Guarantee Media is a family-owned company and has been since they opened their doors 97 years ago, and Rouse's is still family-owned and operated right here in Louisiana with 60 locations. It's why this partnership's been so awesome, not just here on AFR, but our station as a whole and our media group as a whole. We love to tell you about Rouse's. We encourage you to go do all your shopping at Rouse's, and at Guarantee Media, we're proud to be Rouse's Media Partner of the Year. Rouse's.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come home in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down the
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Outfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Rough night last night.
Well, Otter, I'll tell you this. It doesn't happen often, but I did go opposite you on the NBA game. I did take Denver to close it out. So
there you go. That was
it was the one we got last night.
That was good. But this is why I don't believe in specialized pitching decisions because we had a couple of the pitchers that was their worst outing of the season. Didn't have anything. And then they went, the Rangers, the number one scoring team in baseball, went against a struggling pitcher, struggling team, and they couldn't score against a struggling pitcher. So, they have a good day. Your pitchers will, have their stuff or don't have their stuff. And that's why whenever they take out a guy, for instance, like a setup guy, he gets the 8, 3 up, 3 down. Well, leave him in.
Yeah.
Leave him in.
Please don't take him out. I need this one.
I know LSU may be managing it like that. If he can find one to get out, they ain't just going to take him out because it's time for him to get out. So,
You're right. You're right.
But anyway, hey, it happens. And, hey, we'll fess up and here we go. But the odds makers, multiple sportsbook managers said we have finally thrown away our point spread, our power rating for the NBA regular season. We have seen enough during this season to adjust the odds from 5 to plus 1.5 on the Boston Celtics in Miami. I still don't know if it's enough. What's been the biggest spot where we back a team in the NBA
the rebound
this year?
The bounce back spot.
The higher team loses game 1, bounce back and win game 2. 7 out of 8 cover the spread. 8 out of 8 won, except Boston. If they couldn't win that game, why were they going to go Sunday night and win game 3 with that inflated line? That was the biggest handle of any game in the history of Bet Rivers.
Oh, wow.
Was game 3. Yeah, and it was a bloodbath for the public betting on the Celtics. The Celtics last game was like they basically quit. It was embarrassed, but I just don't think that these things are going to correct themselves. I think they're frustrated. They're fed up with their coach. The coach does not get this team to buy in on the defensive end. I just don't see where everything is. Well, they got talent. Well, they got this. I know this, that remember Game 7 on Mother's Day with Tatum hit the shot to go 51 against the 76ers? Matt, that's the last shot he's hit in the fourth quarter. He has 0 points in all 3 games in the fourth quarter. We know Boston gives up clean looks to Miami. That's why everybody else is overperforming right now. I know Jimmy Butler is going to come to play. I know that the Heat is undefeated at home in this postseason. So if I'm going to go against something that hasn't happened, hey, so be it. So I'm going to what I know best, and that's the Heat to try and break the streak tonight.
Yeah, I'm with you, Otter. Same with Denver last night. You're right. Boston's quit, man. This is over. Do we like anything in Major League Baseball tonight?
I like the late game over. Angels, Boston, 9.5.
Okay.
I like Washington, the Nationals at a price. San Diego Padres with all of that payroll. Dead last in Major League Baseball, 30th in batting average. And I'm going to give you a little small play tonight. Okay. We've never done this in a while. Boy, you want to talk about God, the Oakland Onions tonight.
Oh, no. You're betting on Oakland?
The
what?
Oakland Onions.
Oh, no.
Selection of the day. Yes. Remember Seattle with that great pitching rotation and that great staff. Remember we went against the Seattle pitcher, gave up 8 in the inning and a third in Fenway. He's on the hill today. Now it's not Fenway. It's not the Boston lineup. But if the Oakland Onions are ever going to do it, Onions!
When are we taking the run line or the money line?
However you want. Just bet the A's.
All right.
Just that one.
Hey, what was the second game you gave us? You gave us Angels Boston over. What was the second one?
Nationals, struggling San Diego lineup, and
1 minute
Yu Darvish has struggled on the hill as well. Getting wild over here, Mike Anderson, man, in the Oyster Bar. I mean, making Shane mix up shots over here. The boys get a little crazy over here, Mike Anderson. They thought the regional started today.
I'm just trying to make sure I didn't bet the wrong game. I think I bet the wrong damn game again. I think I bet. No, never mind. I got Oakland. Never mind. I got it. All right, we're good.
There are several that are going to catch the Seattle Mariners by habit. Okay, so I understand.
Otter, all right. Otter's at Mike Anderson. Y'all go see Otter. Thank you as always. Have a great show. All right, Game Time follows us. Then we're getting out of here. Muse, Paulie, have a great night. LSU, South Carolina tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Of course, we're back here tomorrow afternoon, and we'll look forward to seeing you there for a Hump Day edition of AFR. See you then.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, let me remind you about the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Terrio called me earlier today and was like, hey, man, can we go do the Evolve thing over at Aesthetic? Evolve is the Evolve X treatment. It is the latest, greatest non-surgical body contouring treatment. We've told you for years about VeloShape, UltraShape. They have those. The newest, latest, greatest is Evolve X. Actually, they hook you up to the machine. You can go see it demoed on their social media, on the website, or just call and ask more about it. But like, they kind of hook you up and the technician can leave. Like, no one has to actually be in the room with you while the machine does the work. It's kind of incredible. Check it out. Learn more online, theantiagingclinics.com. It's beach and pool season. Want to attack those trouble spots? You could do it at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. TheAntiAgingClinics.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $20,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday.